The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where of course we're going to bring the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, joined as always by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner,
and the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
If you hear the music and you know what it is, you know
what it is.
You have to know what it is. We are coming live today from the 10th Annual Wine and Dinosaurs Fest at the Delaware Museum of Natural History.
Natural
History.
Delaware Museum of Natural History is totally what I said. But there's a lot of cool stuff that's here. We're looking at a couple of dinosaur skeletons.
There are literally, yes, I believe we have
and they have leis on.
They have leis on and hula skirts, fedoras. There's a beach ball.
A Stegosaurus, and that's not a T-Rex, is it? It's kind of small for a T-Rex.
Is it
like Allosaurus?
There we go. Rich with the assist on that.
Yes. Or Winosaurs, as Dan calls them.
Yeah. So, I gave him the idea of calling this the Winosaur event, but it's the 10th Annual Wine and Dinosaurs, which also features beer and food, and there's other goodies that
there's
are
going to be
wine,
music.
beer,
there's a steel drum band outside.
Yeah.
There's
tons
raffles.
of amazing raffles, and I haven't stopped smiling since we got here.
This
Yeah, I
is
know.
the coolest place.
This is great. I feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
And the best part is, there's a lot of great
Only now
things
we get
here.
to drink beer.
And we get to drink beer, of course, and look at, dinosaurs. The best part is there's a lot of breweries here that we haven't met before.
There is. We are
Yeah.
in Delaware for the first time.
Right. We somebody let us into another state again for some reason.
Our third
down
Because
now.
nobody learned from Jersey's mistake.
Well,
but, yeah.
Nobody ever learns from Jersey's
That's
mistakes.
true, especially Jersey. We love our friends in Jersey.
We do, especially slimy sauce.
Yeah,
Yes.
and as much as we do love all the guests that we've interviewed before, especially the ones we've met at events too, with the rapid fire interviews, it's very exciting for us to have new breweries to us. There's places that have recently opened in Delaware that
And
we're going to have on.
breaking news,
Uh-oh.
places I've never heard of.
I
Even
know,
better.
right?
This is
going to be
weird.
great.
So I'm excited to spread the word.
I figured you knew all 4,000 and whatever breweries that are
I
in the
know.
country.
I
Yeah, but
There was also a time I had been to every brewery in Delaware, so that's no longer the case.
No longer the case.
Nope.
It's exciting.
and there was a time where I only thought Delaware had Dogfish Head.
Well,
And-
I think most people might still think that.
probably,
it's a
yeah.
safe assumption. There's other breweries, but there's more here than that, and there's breweries that we do know. Yards is here. I think I saw Green Flash and the National guys too.
Yeah, the Rogue's around.
Rogue is around here as
Dogfish
well.
Head is represented.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wineries that are here, so I may actually branch out and try some wine today.
yeah.
We have fancy tasting
we
glasses.
do have
too.
We
fancy
do.
tasting
We
glasses.
have wine glass tasting glasses.
Oh yeah, yeah,
which is
and
pretty
they're
awesome.
not small size. That is a full wine glass.
Yeah,
It's
it's
pretty
good.
cool.
We have our tum buckets just in case.
just
Yeah.
in case.
I do want,
Absolutely.
before we start the interviews, I do want to give a shout out to Cal and Jennifer,
Yes.
who are helping out today. They are the ones that reached out to us and had the brilliant idea of including us at this event. So thank you guys, and this is awesome.
This is great.
I'm so
It's
excited to be
great,
here.
yes.
This is going to be one of the most fun events we've had. No offense to any other event that we've been at, but you need
We're
dinosaurs.
very lucky. We get included in some amazing events.
We do. And I can't think of a better way to end our first 100 episodes.
Yeah, episode 99.
This is episode 99. We're going out with a bang from that, and we're going in with a bang to the next 100.
On with the show.
On with the show,
Let's get it
indeed.
started.
Indeed. Enjoy. And if there is, and there will probably be an 11th Annual Wine and Dinosaurs, trust me, you want to be here for it.
Oh, Dan, and that intro music, clever girl.
So we couldn't start off the interviews for today without getting some guys behind the event up to the table with us. We've got Kurt and Halsey. Gentlemen, thank you so much for having us out here for this event. I'm very excited for it.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's. I already took my picture with. I got a picture of the dinosaur with the fedora and the lei, and that was the first thing I put on our Instagram.
and we got our selfie with the T-Rex.
with the T-Rex
good.
that's walking
Yeah,
around. And I've always wanted to wear one of those costumes, so I'm very jealous of the guy that's in there. But there's a lot of cool stuff that seems like it's going on. Now, this is the 10th Annual Wine and Dinosaurs. So obviously 10 years ago it started, but what was behind the idea for this? How did it get started?
We actually, back in 2016 minus 10, 2006, there was the craft beer was just kind of taking hold, and we hadn't really got into it yet. And wineries were still kind of were big back then. It's wine and dinosaurs, but it really should be wine and beer.
Yeah.
and dinosaurs.
Thank you.
We've got honestly, we've got probably 30 different types of wines here, but there's more than 50 beers here. But we've held on to that wine and Dinosaurs name just because it rhymes.
Oh, of course.
It sounds really
It
good.
rolls
yeah.
off the tongue.
And you can take this if you like. I coined the term winosaur for the event.
There you go.
So if you want,
You didn't see my T-shirt.
Oh, no, there's a T-shirt involved.
I'm stripping.
No.
Under the Hawaiian
Good thing this is
dinosaur.
radio.
Wino. It's a
Wino.
T-Rex holding two.
Winosaur.
But the
Winosaur.
problem.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Look over there right now.
Oh my God! So there's
There's
also
a
a
Triceratops
Triceratops
now as
too.
well.
Oh, this is incredible.
And he's going by the Allosaurus, Aleosaurus table.
Oh my
I
gosh.
get it.
There's
this
so
is
many
such a
puns here
This
today.
is
I love
amazing.
it.
I can't believe this is the first time we're here.
That's
I
pretty
know.
cool. We should mention that Kurt here, you are the chair of the event.
I am. I'm an attorney in Wilmington, Delaware, and my firm Proctor Heyman and Aereo has been a proud sponsor of this event for 5-6 years now. And this is our first year as the lead sponsor.
Okay, cool.
And I have also been on the board of trustees at the museum here for 2 terms, and I've been happy to be involved with this event.
Awesome.
And when
then,
we say museum, I'm not sure that we actually mentioned this. We are at the Delaware Museum of Natural History.
That would be a good thing to mention.
And this is technically Wilmington, but we are not in downtown Wilmington. We are in quite a beautiful part of Wilmington that I've never been to
No,
before.
we're in an area that's probably more known as Greenville or Centerville.
Yeah.
But it's postal Wilmington still, but it's not part of the city.
It's so
This
beautiful.
gets out into what they call Chateau Country. Getting out toward the Brandywine River Valley and moving out of the city towards the north and
Fantastic.
the west a little bit.
And Halsey, you're the director of the museum. How long have you been involved with the museum here?
Well, that was my math problem because I was not here in 2006 when it started. So I started in late 2007, and I've been here ever since. And this place is a dynamite museum for
It's amazing.
certainly for kids coming in and learning about the wonders of the natural world, and that's a big part of our educational programs and a lot of our notoriety in the public, not just in Wilmington, but getting into Pennsylvania and down in Maryland and over into New Jersey. But it's also a great place for adults too. We put on a number of kind of adult themed events throughout the year, murder mysteries, and of course,
cool.
wine and beer and dinosaurs.
Yes, and there's also food today and music and awesome raffles. We were looking at some of the
raffles
raffle
are
prize tables. There's
amazing.
some pretty amazing stuff. And Rich pointed out to me this really cool the wall of wine, where you
Yeah.
pay like a certain amount, and there's a wall of wine bottles all wrapped up in bags, so you can't see what they are, and you just
like a
randomly
big
pick one.
surprise.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
don't know
I'm
what it's
totally
gonna be.
buying one of those for my
Well,
wife.
You
what
should,
you
yeah.
need to know is it's $20 per pull of a bottle of wine, and usually you'll get about what you put in. You'll get a bottle of wine worth $10 to $20 essentially, but there are 15 premium bottles of wine
Okay.
in there, which is the Perlu Cabernet from California, which is $115 per bottle.
Wow.
So, and my wife and I donated those to the
nice.
Wall of Wine.
Fantastic.
So, hoping maybe you guys will get some. If you,
Do you have any prizes in there on the other end? Like one's just actually a bottle of
Here's
Mountain
a
Dew?
beer
We've talked about that to get
That would be funny.
the screw top Chianti or something
Yes.
like that.
Oh, man.
We have not.
Yeah, I
no.
can-
It would be
Consider-
funny
I
for
consider,
everyone except the person who picks that.
well, I consider all the white wine to be a booby prize. But
Okay, there you go. I'm not a big wine drinker, but I agree
Well,
with you.
I
I'm
always
not a fan of white
say
wine.
I always call beer the other white wine. I would drink beer on any occasion over white wine. So
I don't know how to take that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that was a good thing.
Okay,
That's a good
all
thing.
right.
Sounds like a good thing to me.
So this has to be probably one of the biggest fundraising events for the museum, I imagine. This is such a big going on. The money that you raised today, what will that go towards?
Well, first of all, this is our main fundraiser for the year, and we've tried a couple about over the years, and this one is just kind of stuck and then taken off. So all of the proceeds from today's event will go towards the ongoing operation of the museum to help us with our education programs, bringing kids in from the inner city who don't have the means to come here and subsidizing them to get their educational programs. It's a wonderful way to get the word out about the museum to kind of a different group.
Yeah.
The beer followers and the wine followers, and all to do it in a great kind of happy way and transforming the museum. And that, museums are known for being kind of dusty and stale and don't touch that, no running. And that's not the case here. We're trying to really mix it up a bit and say, this is your house. have
well,
fun.
my daughter and I came here for years before I was ever on the board, but it was part of my interest in becoming more involved. And I think part of what this event also does, particularly with the beers we have on hand, is it brings in a younger crowd, and that's good because you guys are all young, good-looking people here.
We appreciate that.
But
Checks in the mail.
You'll have families at some point, and you'll want to bring them in to places like this, and it's an awesome place for kids. And I think that the beer, which frankly has outpaced the wine at this point at the event, helps us cater to the next generation of people who will come to the museum.
And it's a perfect pairing, too, because what you do is you have a couple of beers, you loosen up, and then your checkbook comes out, and you're willing to kind of, you're a little less inhibited. Exactly. Or I'll spend $500 for that, $20 bottle of wine.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
They've done this before. They know.
I know what they're doing.
There is a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon here this year as well. Now, it's not their highest end,
right.
But last year this same bottle, I think, went for $1,100.
Oh, my God.
It was one of the single highest selling items here.
Small batch.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
But the beer is free. It's part of your ticket. So that's not $1,100.
Right. Although you'll take a donation if somebody's willing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for the rest of the event to come through, and I would imagine the crowd's going to be in good spirits because I know I already am. I mean, I woke up a little off today. I didn't get much sleep, but as soon as I got in here and saw these giant dinosaurs, I lit up.
Make sure you get outside. One of the things that's great about this museum is that we have this terrific outdoor campus as well. We're out here, like Halsey said, in Chateau Country, and it's a gorgeous day. And there will be a steel drum band, and there will be beer out there.
Awesome.
Today, this is the first year we've had a theme. We have a tropical theme going.
It makes sense with all the
kind of
Hawaiian
luau,
shirts.
You get it.
Jurassic
You get it.
Beach.
Jurassic
Beach.
I love
it. And there will be beer outside along with the steel drum band.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
happy to be here.
Definitely happy to be here, and it's a great thing you guys are doing, and I hope we get many more years that you guys are able to do this. And from the sounds of it, I mean, I'd love to come back next year if there is a next year. But it's
you mean like in general, like if the world doesn't end?
Well, I mean, if there's an extra for the events. Well, you never know.
Well, dinosaurs came to an end.
Right, that's
true. This is an ill omen.
On that note,
65 million years from now, somebody's going to find our museum.
I'm going to find the closest wood and start knocking.
Yeah,
it down.
right, exactly. But we can't thank you guys enough for having us out here for this. It's going to be a blast, and this already could be our favorite event that we've ever done.
That's pretty awesome.
It's good to hear.
Just wait till you try the beer and the food.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah, I can't wait. Cool. Thank you guys. We really
Thanks so
appreciate
much,
it.
guys.
Our first brewery of the day. Guys are sitting across from us here in the room. I don't even know it's dinosaur room.
On
Is
the
that
other
room?
side of the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, the other side of the dinosaurs, where the actual T-Rex is actually standing right now, wearing a fedora too. So that's fun. But we've got Brian with us from Argila, and I just had to learn how to pronounce that. Argila.
Yeah.
Brian, how are you?
Pretty good today.
Good, man. Thanks for coming up to the table with us.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me over.
Yeah. And where are you guys located?
We're on Kirkwood Highway in Newark, Delaware.
Okay.
And it's Meadowwood Shopping Center.
I feel like I might have been there before at some point.
It's you may have. We've been at that location for almost 5 years now ourselves. I mean, it's been a bar in the past.
Okay.
It's if you're familiar with Kirkwood Highway, there's one spot where there's a footbridge that goes over it.
So
maybe
find the footbridge.
Find the footbridge.
You'll find the
find the
beer.
bridge, and you will find the brewery.
You will find Argila. And you are the assistant brewer there?
Yes, I am.
Have you been there from day one?
With the company, yes.
Okay.
When they opened the brewery there, I was helping with the computer systems, little things here and there, working in the kitchen. And just last November, I started brewing.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. And were you doing any home brewing, anything before, or did you kind of just learn it all at the brewery?
Yeah, I kind of learned most of what it was there because, I just talk to Steve all the time. He's very passionate about it. He's the brewmaster there.
Okay, cool.
Steve Powell. And so, I learned a lot from him, and then a chance came up, and I was like, if you'd have me, I'd like to learn it.
Yeah.
And it's been going really well since.
Awesome.
And you have a dinosaur currently pouring your beer for you?
I do.
Did that dinosaur come with you?
Yes.
Oh,
They brought the dinosaur along.
All right.
We brought him along.
They were prepared for this event.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
we have a selfie we took with the dinosaur, so you can see that on
and then another picture with the dinosaur.
our social medias. But yeah.
Yep.
And I think we got a picture of the dinosaur on his phone, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Texting away.
Nothing
So
like
speaking
a
of
T-Rex
beer-
with a cell
Yeah,
phone.
speaking of beer, so you
Yeah,
have...
so what do we have in front of us here?
Right now we have our He Won't Be Bach.
He won't be
Which is actually an homage to our previous assistant brewer, Brian, which was also Brian.
Okay.
So that was the last beer he brewed with
There's a
us,
trend.
and we call it the He Won't Be Bock. It's a Bock, a blonde Bock,
Right.
Ooh.
kind of almost a little bit of a Belgian style.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does have a Belgian. It's a little fruity.
Yep,
Yeah,
you got
nice
some of
sweet
that.
aroma,
A little spicy.
Yeah.
but super easy drinking. Some
Yeah.
Bocks can be
Can be rough.
a little rough.
Yeah.
A little,
Yeah, and
a
that's
little.
we like to. This one's been sitting around, I think, in cold storage for about 3 or 4 weeks now.
Now, is this a? Well, will this be? I guess it hasn't been on very long since the assistant brewer, who it's named for, just left. But do you guys do like flagship beers? Or you do a lot of one-offs? Or?
We do. We have like a blonde Belgian, or what we call blonde on Belgian. We almost always have on tap at the pub. We have, and we do a Totally series of IPAs.
A Totally series.
Spelled TOATALLY, like oats, because it's an IPA we brew with some oats in it, and we like to showcase certain styles of hops.
Totes my goats.
Totes my goats.
Totes my goats.
Ooh, this second beer smells quite
So
wonderful.
yes, we've moved on to the Say Fresh to Michigan Fresh Hop Pale Ale. Now, first of all, why is it called that?
Say Fresh to Michigan. Honestly, I can't remember right now. Steve comes up with all the names.
It's fine if you don't know.
There's a great reference to it, but
Isn't there? There's a band called Farewell to Michigan, or Say.
It sounds like it's a take on a movie quote or
it
something.
is. It's a movie quote or a band name. Like there was a while back we did a IPA day, and it was like hip hop IPA day.
Oh,
Nice.
Tribe Called Quest, and a bunch of stuff like that.
Of course.
But
Awesome.
this Say Fresh to Michigan here is our fresh hop pale ale we did. We got 20 pounds of fresh Cascade hops in
Ooh,
from
it
the harvest.
really comes through in the aroma.
Oh wow!
It's even
That's
got like
really
kind of
nice.
a greenness to it.
It does. It has that nice, like grassy, fresh hop character.
Yeah,
I really like
it's
that.
quite tasty.
Right now we actually have a keg of that on our nitrogen tap.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
that's got to add a cool
It's
element
kind
to it.
of really soft.
Yeah, I
mouthful.
bet. Oh, that's got to be great.
And
I mean,
so,
this
where
is-
did I'm curious to know where you got the hops? Is it a local?
Where exactly? We ordered them through our hop distributor
Okay.
this time, but Steve has grown hop vines in the past at his house, so we're planning on getting those set up for next year,
Oh, cool.
so we
cool.
can harvest our own.
Your own, yeah.
Have all the employees come out and do a little hop picking party.
Nice. That'll be cool. Very
Did,
nice.
did they know that when they signed up for the job that they'd be
Picking hops? That could be a lot of
No.
work.
That is a lot of
Like
work.
you think brewing's hard?
Yep, it's kind of like, oh, it's fun. You're playing with hops. It's kind of like, yeah, this fence is really fun to paint over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Get to spend some quality time outside, bonding with your coworkers.
Exactly.
Full appreciation of the brew process. No, not at all. But this is delicious, and
Cool, thank you.
It's really good. I like this.
I'd be interested to try the nitro version of it. But I mean, it's got some great characteristics in and of itself with how it is here. The aroma is nice and fresh and hoppy, and the
Yeah,
taste
yeah.
comes through with it too. I mean, that Bach was really good too. I can't get
Yeah,
over the Bach.
Bach is one of my favorites.
I didn't ask my usual question.
You didn't.
What's
What are
the
the
ABV?
ABVs on
The
these?
ABVs. The blonde Bach, the He Won't Be Bach, that is about 6.5%.
Okay.
And the Say Fresh to Michigan, I believe, is 5.8%.
Okay. I was a little scared about the Bach because with that Belgian-y taste to it, I thought
can
it might
hide-
be
it
like a
could be,
9%er.
yeah.
But no, that's not bad at all. 6.5. Cool.
Well, Brian, it was awesome to meet you, and we never heard of your brewery prior to this, and I think that's going to be a
awesome.
little bit of a trend
Yeah.
today. So it's exciting
Yeah,
to
this is cool. We're
Definitely.
meet new
a
breweries.
lot of
and-
breweries here we haven't
Yep.
been to, heard of, seen before. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah, it's a
cool.
good way to start today. You are setting the bar very high for these newbies for us.
Awesome. Do you have any events or anything you want to plug coming up?
I'm
Anything
thinking, we do have our Fall Fest coming out that we do. It is going to be October 27th, I believe. Cool. I'll have to check my calendar. But around that end of October, we do a Fall Fest. We take parking lot over. We have jumpers for the kids. We have bands inside, outside.
Oh, cool.
We're going to have, I think, probably, we have 8 taps at the bar, so we're going to have taps outside set up, barbecue.
Cool. That sounds like a lot
That's
of
one of
fun.
my
And
favorite words.
People can go to your Facebook page to get information
Yep, they can
on
find
that.
it on our Argila
Perfect.
Facebook page. Check us out on Instagram, Argila Brewing Co.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah. And we'll-
ARGILLA.
Yeah,
A-
and I was gonna say,
ARGILLA.
we can spell it, but we'll also link it from our website when,
Yeah, absolutely.
when the post
Cool.
goes up. Brian, thank you so much for coming up to the
Yeah,
table,
thanks
man.
for having
these
me, guys.
awesome beers.
Thank you.
Cool. Cheers, man. Joining us at the table now, another brewery that I have not heard of before today, so this is super exciting.
Nice.
We've got Mike with us from Big Oyster Brewery. How are you, Mike?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good, man. Thank you for
Thanks
coming
for
up
sitting
here.
down with us.
No problem.
Yeah. And I know we've got Rich pouring over at your stand over there, so thanks for letting him take over so you can come up here with us.
Sure.
Yeah. You've got, where are you guys located? Let me start off with that.
So we're located in Rehoboth Beach right now. We're brewing outside of Finn's Ale House and Raw Bar. It's right on Coastal Highway on the northbound side if you're heading out. We opened in June of last year, 2015, and then we started distributing in November locally, statewide, and then we're planning on moving into Maryland here in the next month or two.
Cool.
Awesome.
Are you distributing just on draft, or do you bottle and can any beers?
All on draft for now. We're opening a bigger brewery in Lewis that's supposed to be open by January, hopefully. At that point, we'll be quintupling our production ability,
nice.
and then at that point, we'll be canning too.
Very
All
nice.
right.
Very nice.
Starting off with the canning.
Yep.
So you have plans to get into Maryland.
Yep.
My geography is a little off, especially when it comes to Delaware. So Rehoboth is a little further south.
Sure,
than
it's
Delaware.
about where we
Rehoboth
are
is just at the border.
Okay. All right. So that would make sense to then go to Maryland. Okay.
You can, I always think Ocean City, Maryland, and Rehoboth Beach are pretty close to each other.
I don't know that I've ever been to Rehoboth.
It's about an hour and a half from here, maybe.
All right.
And then after Rehoboth Beach, you have Bethany, and then right after that is Ocean City. So it's about 30 minutes from the Maryland line, I would say.
Oh, yeah, so super close. That makes perfect sense for you guys.
Yeah.
What is it like having to deal with, and this is probably a bigger topic, having to deal with the difference in laws between the two states?
It is complicated. I'm still learning. I came over from being a GM of one of the restaurants, so it's a big learning process.
Yeah.
But the distribution laws are different in every state.
Oh, yeah.
In Delaware, you have to have a distributor. In Maryland, some counties you can self-distribute. Some you have to have a distributor. So,
wow, I'm surprised that can go county by county.
Yeah. Our distributor in Maryland covers 3 different counties, and we can take our beer to them, and then they distribute it for us to the restaurants.
Now, you said you guys opened just in June of last year.
Yep.
Have you been with the company from the beginning?
Yeah, I started at Claw's Seafood House in 2006 as a cook, a line cook in the kitchen, and when I graduated college from Johnson & Wales, I went back and managed, and then we decided to open a brewery, so it was a lateral move, which is great, and we've done really well so far.
Okay,
it's been exciting.
So the brewery is a part of the restaurant? It's all
correct.
The same company, so you've got a restaurant and brewery.
We opened the restaurant in December of 2013, started building the brewery, and opened it in June of last year.
Awesome. And was having a brewery always a goal for the restaurant, or did that kind of come
We were kind of looking for something that would separate us from our competition down there. It is a very healthy competition in the seafood business, but
I
it's
would
also,
imagine,
and
also
the beer
pretty,
business.
And the beer business. Obviously, Dogfish Head is at the very top, and everyone's trying to climb the ladder. But I think we're doing a great job, and the beer's great, and the distribution's been awesome. So awesome.
I actually we have friends that are in Ocean City, Maryland, right at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to have to text them and say, you guys need to check out Big Oyster on your way back home.
Absolutely, yeah.
A new place. It's always exciting to try a new
Let's
place.
check it out now, because
That's true. We need to get some
here.
So what are we starting with
So
here?
the first one is the Solar Power Belgian Blonde. It's brewed with organic oranges, and then it's cold steeped with fresh orange peel.
Ooh, that smell.
It's got a nice little palate cleansing character to it, and a little bit of orange in there.
It's like the perfect Sunday brunch beer.
It really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned Sunday brunch at Finn's Ale House, we have brunch from 10 to 3 every Sunday.
And this beer would go
This
perfect
would be
with that.
it, yes.
So is this a seasonal beer for you guys?
We planned on it to be a seasonal beer, and it turned out to be our best-selling beer so far.
Wow.
Especially in Sussex County and the beach. It's been a great day drinking beer. People come up and have a few. That's going to be one that we can in the beginning, too.
Good.
Because it's going to be, we think, a great seller.
Yeah, that should be good in a can. And what I really like about it is being a Belgian style, but a lighter Belgian style, is it has that character to it, but it drinks really easily. So it would be a good out on the beach beer with some seafood. And
some of the Belgian beers have a heavier funk to it. And those are, I think it's super light and makes it much more sessionable than some of the other Belgians can be.
Definitely, and a nice citrus character.
So what size
nice
is your
crisp.
brewing system right now?
So right now it's a 7-barrel system. We have 1 15-barrel fermenter and 4 7-barrel fermenters. So they pretty much brew twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. We go through the product every 15 days about, and then
so it's pretty much always fresh.
Always fresh.
And when you move to the bigger system, what size will that new system
That'll
be?
be a 15-barrel system with 30-barrel fermenters.
Nice.
We're still keeping the smaller brewery. Obviously, we're going to use that kind of as a pilot system, do a little bit of weirder things, something different. We're also working on a bunch of sour beers.
Nice.
Which is exciting. We're doing a couple Brett beers at the highway. So if you stop in at Finn's, there's always 10 or 11 of our beers. We've got 29 taps there. So
nice.
There's a really, really good draft selection.
And then the remaining taps, do you guys do other local craft beers?
Yeah, we support our local. A lot of the breweries are great at supporting each other. The ones that have the ability. Some of the smaller ones have only their beer on, which is expected.
Yeah.
But with 29 taps, we're able to have maybe a better selection of beers than you might find at other places, because we obviously want people drinking our beer, but if they're going to drink something else, have a good selections for them to choose from.
Especially if it's a local selection too, because that's one thing we've learned getting to do stuff like this a lot. There's a good sense of camaraderie in the beer community.
Absolutely.
It's all about local support with each other, because if one local brewery grows, by association, the others that have partnered with them and done business with them and just helped them out, you're going to grow then too.
Exactly.
So it's beautiful to hear that happens in Delaware too. I figured it would.
Yeah, and the tourism is always a big thing during the summertime. But even
here in the mythical land of Delaware, I'm sorry. That's so funny the way you said that.
Yeah, it is a state, and it's not just a territory. But the local tourism's been huge for us down there, obviously. But now it's becoming a destination for beer tours.
Right,
People spend an entire week going from brewery to brewery to brewery, and that's something that is pretty new to the area, but it's bringing in a lot of customers during the day, which is lunchtime business is always a tough thing when people are on the beach. But,
of course.
Bringing in buses and buses of people just to try beer and move on to the next thing.
It's great.
But it's building a good customer base for us.
We have a second beer.
We do have another beer here we need to try.
I've been trying not to sip it, but I've just been sniffing it, and it smells pretty awesome.
So this is our flagship. It's called Hammerhead IPA. It's a West Coast style IPA. Locally, Dogfish Head does the 60-minute. Miss Pillion has a great East Coast IPA, the Reach Around, and we wanted to do something a little bit different, make it a West Coast style IPA. It's got 6 different kinds of hops, a little bit of citrus, a little bit of pine, but very easy to drink.
This is the perfect IPA for AP.
The perfect what now?
I can't talk. It's the perfect IPA for a can.
There you go.
Perfect IPA for a can.
Well, these are the two that we're canning out of the gate. So
nice, very nice, very nice. I like it. It definitely has the citrusy, piney, crispy West Coast style, but there's like a nice little funkiness in there as well, like a nice little dank hop character as well.
And I have to say, this summer, my husband and I spent some time in the Pacific Northwest, and there was one particular IPA that was quite memorable that I had in Portland, and this reminds me of that IPA.
Ooh. Oh, really?
So
nice.
when
And
you
that's
say
a
this
real
is
West Coast IPA.
you say it's a West Coast IPA, like it's living up to that. It's really tasty. It's delicious.
Well, shout out to our head brewer Andrew Harton. He came from Iron Hill.
Sorry.
Okay.
Steph had some
Steph
Iron Hill
interned at Iron
background
Hill.
also.
Yeah, he was
It's a
there for
great
about
place to
5
brew.
years and then moved down about a couple months into our opening, and he's done a great job for us.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, I definitely need to make it back to Rehoboth again sometime soon.
Yeah, that sounds like there.
Take
I
me
was
with you.
there.
Yeah.
I don't think I was even old enough to go camping. So I'm gonna have to come back now that
Road
I can
trip.
drink all the beers.
Yeah, we got
I'm up for a road trip.
We have a full-service growler filler, too, that
perfect.
pressurizes everything, so they keep for 90 days without opening them.
Oh, cool.
Instead of just filling them from the tap, they only last a couple days that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good
A
thinking.
lot of good options down there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
so cool. Well, best of luck with your expansion.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you guys have a great reception here today. And I hope you trusted Rich to pour
Yeah,
your
I'm thinking we
beers.
better get Mike back.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Let's get Rich back here.
Yeah,
He's all right.
exactly. But Mike, thank you so much for coming up at the table, man.
Absolutely.
And we're going to follow you guys online. We'll
Please
link
do.
to your website and all from ours when the episode goes live. But looking forward to seeing you
speaking
guys
of which,
grow.
the website is
BigOysterBrewery.com.
okay. That's easy enough.
Yeah, we have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we have all that stuff.
Very cool.
All
yeah.
the socials.
all the socials.
All the socials. Cool. Well, Mike, man, thanks for coming up
I
here and
appreciate it.
talking to us. Thanks for these great beers.
No problem.
I'm liking how we're starting this show, this event, because we have yet another brewery that I have not heard of before coming to the event today.
Then you don't read our website.
No, you don't. Because
admittedly, I don't.
Steph wrote about them before.
I've written about them twice.
I'm too busy making us sound good.
Oh, ouch. I'm too busy making us look good.
That's quite all right, and Wayne just here. But we have with us, of course, Chris from Miss Pillion River Brewing.
Wayne makes us laugh.
Did
Give
I?
him
He
that.
does make us laugh. But did I say it right? I was worried I would
You
get
did.
it. Okay,
You did.
cool. So
You're right on point.
right now, the trick you told me before we started recording is just say it fast. It's not Miss Pillion. It's just Miss Pillion.
Miss Pillion.
Miss Pillion Brewing.
Absolutely.
Almost like you're going to spit on someone.
Yeah.
I might have spit on this microphone. It's a good thing I'm the only one that uses
As long as
this
you don't
one.
spit on me, we're okay.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd be kind of impressed if I could reach you from this side of the table.
I think you
I'd
could
probably
do it.
shake your hand, honestly.
All right, we would be friends then. So how long have you guys been open?
It'll be 3 years in November.
Ooh,
So
all
we'll
right.
be celebrating 3 years coming up very soon.
Very cool. Well, early congratulations on that. That's
Thank
great.
you.
How's it been going?
Great.
Good.
Nothing but good stuff. Started out very local, and we are in 4 states now: PA, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware, obviously, and doing great everywhere.
Four of the best states I think we can all agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
And have you been with Miss Pillion from the beginning?
I have not. So actually, a longtime friend of mine who is our head brewer now, he's a step under the brewmaster. He's brewing all the core beers along with a couple other people. I had known him for a long time. He got a job, and it's hard for one of your best friends to brew beer and you not go over there all the time.
Right, exactly.
So started hanging out over there, met everybody, met the owner, Eric Williams, and everybody else, the great people I work with, and just kind of fell in love with the brewery. It was it's a good place, great beer, and, even more, it's a great work environment to be in. So,
Awesome.
it was a no-brainer for me.
And you do sales for Delaware and New Jersey?
Yes, Delaware
Awesome.
and New Jersey.
Cool.
How far into Jersey do you get?
So we're a little bit of everywhere in Jersey right now. We've got stuff in Jersey City, Hoboken, Cherry Hill, right on down. Not flooded everywhere, just kind of, a couple markets here, a couple markets there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And you clearly can your beers.
Yes, we do. We can our beers. Only in cans, and that's the way we like to do it. Just actually got our new canning line, so we're no longer with a mobile canner. We have our own line.
Oh, nice.
We're pumping it off as fast as we're making it, so it's made things very, very good.
Awesome. And do you can, how many of your beers do you can?
5. So I've got the 2 that we're going to try today, Reach Around Black IPA. Not Today's Satan. That is our newest canning line.
Nice.
Yes. And that is a 7.3 IPA, one of my favorites. And then Holy
I
Crap.
feel like it should be 6.6.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Holy
awesome.
Crap. That's our Imperial Red. And Space Otter, which is our American Pale Ale.
Awesome.
I think you might win for names.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. We've got a lot of names that are very good, especially on the one-off series.
Cool.
Where is Not Today's Satan from? I know it's from something.
To be honest, that story came from the Firefly Music Festival.
Okay.
Now, how that came to be, I'm not sure, but it was said, I guess, a lot. It was on one of those giant posters that people carry around to kind of mark where your friends are.
Maybe I've seen pictures of that, probably.
Yeah, and it could be from something else. Maybe they got it from something else.
Honestly,
I'm not sure.
We'll have to Google it.
That's what inspired it.
You know what it's from, Dan? It's from a very good beer that comes in an awesome can.
Well, there you go. All right, good.
Speaking of really good beers that come in
Speaking of,
awesome cans.
Yes. So we've got the Reach Around
Reach
here.
Around is what we're starting with, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
So this is just a good old 6% IPA.
Very easy drinking. It goes down. It doesn't linger too long. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
very
nice
refreshing.
and clean and crisp.
Absolutely.
I love the cans. They're very unique. The art that's on them.
Absolutely. So that's actually a Tom Ryan out of Connecticut. That he does all of our artwork for us.
Awesome. Yeah, because I've snagged a couple of cans of Miss Pillion River in bottle shops. I do like a mixed 6-pack, and one of the reasons. And I know this is not how you're supposed to pick beers,
but you're a graphic designer.
So. And that's true. And when I can't decide like what specific beer I want, I just look for the coolest cans and coolest bottles. And Miss Pillion River does always stand out.
Is that the one with the sloth on it? By the way,
there's a sloth on it.
That is the reach around sloth.
That is the sloth. He is currently reaching around, and he is purple.
Perfect. I love it. But it's great for brand recognition. I mean, you see this artwork, you're going to know that it's you guys.
A lot of cans have a lot of good artwork. I've never seen cans that are so abstract, so many colors going into it. With the animal on it, that really it sticks out. It sticks out very well.
And this one has a penguin. Do they all have an animal on?
Yes. So you've got a T-Rex, a penguin.
Wait.
How did you not bring the T-Rex one?
Yeah.
Why is the T-Rex beer not here?
Because, honestly,
explain yourself.
Because it had just come off the canning line, so I decided it's also a 9% Imperial. So on a hot day like this, probably not the best idea.
Wonderful air conditioning.
But marathon drinking, though,
but it has a T-Rex on it.
But he's thinking of the well-being of the patrons of this fine event.
It's not wine and sloths. It's wine and dinosaurs.
It's not wine and sloths. Wow. Oh,
sorry.
Wow.
I think you had a sloth in Ice Age, so that's...
all right.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a connection.
True.
Right.
And there are things here other than dinosaur stuff.
That's true.
But it's not wine and other things besides dinosaurs.
No, that's not as catchy.
I'm just saying. Anyway. Ooh, look at this.
Whoa. I did not expect that. I should probably finish this so I can put some in my glass.
So next we have Black Tie, which is a black India Pale Ale, a black IPA, and this is the one with the penguin on.
Absolutely.
So I'll let you talk about it.
So this is, actually, that's the owner's favorite beer. That's one of our cores, has been for almost the entirety of the brewery. It's for a black IPA, which you're not seeing on every shelf everywhere. It does exactly what it needs to do. It's great. It's not too hoppy. Goes down smooth. I'll let you guys try. Tell me what you think.
It's got a really nice malt character in the aroma.
I love
which
the
I like
aromas
from a
of
good black IPA.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So I got to ask, this one's got the penguin on the can. Did you go with black tie and penguin because people always say penguins are wearing tuxedos?
Yeah, and
it kind of makes sense.
Kind of along those lines.
All
yes.
right. I just want to make sure I was following the logic.
It's quite tasty.
Ooh, it does have a very nice.
Yeah, I haven't actually
aroma.
tasted it yet.
Yeah, same here.
You guys did that in unison. That was hilarious.
That's impressive.
It runs in the family.
Synchronized beer sampling.
Ooh, that is delicious.
That's really good. That's really delicious. Black IPA is a style that I really enjoy when it's done really well.
Yeah,
and this
absolutely.
is really solid.
I appreciate it.
And I'm so glad we're drinking out of these beautiful wine glasses because you can really appreciate the aroma with every sip that you take.
It's true.
That's why I almost always drink beers out of goblets. So a pint glass is good, but I feel like a goblet really allows you to experience that aroma with every sip, and it's so tasty. This is a comforting beer.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is. Yeah.
I use pint glasses at home because that's all I really have.
Yeah, I just normal. That's honestly, that's just what the cabinet's stocked full of. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, I think I broke one of your goblets.
Oh
at
my
one
goodness!
Point.
You dick!
I told you when I did
Dan,
it. It was like 2 months ago.
You need to learn. Stop letting people live with you that are going to break your stuff.
You also broke one of the bowls of the dishes. Ray broke another plate, and my evil genius glass. I broke a plate last week.
It's pity party for Dan.
I can't be trusted with this kind of stuff. But I do enjoy this beer. I would like to be trusted with this beer. It's delicious. It's a multi-aroma. Black IPAs are like Wayne said, when they're done right, they're very, very good.
Absolutely.
And I feel like not enough people do them right, but this falls in the right category.
I'm glad you like it.
And you guys, you do sour beers as well, correct?
We do. We have
and don't you
tons
have
of
an
sours.
event in the summertime that's geared towards sour beers, if I remember correctly?
We have a lot of events. We have had a sour event before. We did not this past summer. Just with all kinds of, we always trying new events also, you know what I mean? A lot of different limited release bottle releases, stuff like that. But our sours are, yes, very much known for our sours, and they're beginning, and if not already, they're big sellers for us. Orange Drank, Cat Caller, Citroponic, they're all, that's three just off the top of my head that are, Orange Drank, you can probably get that in stores, bars right now, select bars around town.
Nice.
So that just can't. Yeah, our sours are great. The brewers do a
Dan
great
just
job.
loves all the beer names.
Orange Drank.
Yeah, well, I've got a lot of cool names. We've got the Jalapeno Hefeweizen. That's Little Dictator.
Little Dictator.
You've got Pound Town. I mean, it keeps going down.
I love it. I love it.
This is amazing. What animal would you put on Little Dictator? If it were in a can.
I'm not sure.
All right.
That's actually something that we're maybe in the future, something we're talking about canning somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And so that will be, I think the boss has got a couple ideas, and I'm sure it'll be something creative.
All right, I will keep my eyes posted.
Stay
for that.
tuned. Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. So you guys are out of Milford, Delaware.
Milford, Delaware.
So
yep.
anyone not familiar with Delaware, such as myself, where is Milford?
That's the top county, right?
No, we're in the top county right now. So we're in Newcastle right now. That is
Middle county.
Yes,
Because Delaware's 3 counties,
Yes.
top, middle, bottom.
Yes, it is in Kent County, right down. If you take 95 to Route 1 and head straight down towards the Delaware beaches, right when you go past Dover Downs, the Speedway and everything right there, it'll be maybe 2 or 3 exits up the road.
See, that I think I know. That makes sense to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. You got to stop by sometime, man. We
course.
got
For
a 14 tap room, and beers pouring 7 days a week, live music on the weekends sometimes, food
cool.
trucks, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
It sounds like it's a fun time. So these beers, I mean, if this is a representation of what you guys have, it's clear you guys have great stuff that you're offering. And I can only imagine that if you guys have such cool names, there's also such a cool environment, because it sounds like you guys enjoy having fun.
We do.
Good.
We do. That is what the backbone of our business is. It's have fun while we're doing this stuff.
Good. Yeah, you got to have fun, otherwise it's not worth doing.
No, absolutely.
That is awesome. Well, these beers were great, and I can't thank you enough for bringing them out to the table.
Absolutely.
And talking
Thanks for
to us.
having me. I appreciate it.
We'll plug the website and all. What is the website for anybody who wants to know?
It is, I believe it's just misspillion.com. Give me 1 second. We
Take your
actually
time.
are in the process of updating our website. So
Oh, okay.
Our website, it had just needed, it was time for, the way we're growing to revamp it and, add some more options. I believe we're going to be able to get merchandise on the website now, stuff
cool.
like that.
Cool.
So, yeah, it is, and it's misspillionriverbrewing.com.
misspillionriverbrewing.com.
And Facebook,
Perfect.
Twitter, social media.
All the
Yeah,
socials.
Instagram, Facebook.
Nice.
Yep, absolutely. You can stay on there for our events. We have events quite frequently. The Halloween event that's coming up on the 28th. It's a costume party. There'll be big food truck houses to go, on the go, I should say. Food truck will be there. I believe some live music's playing. It'll be a good time, so everybody come out.
Cool.
Beer, drink
And while speaking of events, I should mention that Brian stopped by and mentioned that their Fall Fest is October 15th.
Yes,
So
from
his name was
Argila.
wrong.
So a
So
little
now
bit
we
of
have from Argila.
a
We have the
correction.
correct date. So all
Okay.
these awesome fall events coming up with
Yeah.
all these
Yeah,
great
come
fellow
spend
breweries.
fall in Delaware and
Absolutely.
drink awesome beer.
A lot of breweries to tour around to, in such a small state. It's great.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
Awesome.
Chris,
well, thanks
it
so
was nice
much,
to
man.
meet you. Thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks for
stopping
coming
by.
up here, Chris. Really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. My pleasure.
Cool. Cheers. So we have joining us now yet another brewery that I had not known about before coming to this event, which is why I am super duper excited. We have with us Mike and Patrick, who are from Midnight Oil Brewing. Gentlemen, how are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Great.
Good, awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming up to the table here.
You're
welcome.
So where are you guys located?
We're going to be opening in Newark, Delaware.
Okay.
So we're aiming at June 1, possibly July. We're operating at the speed of government, so...
Well,
Yeah.
that's a pretty slow speed, but no fault
We're
of your own.
operating
Yeah.
at the speed of the government.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
So you guys are in the process of getting open, so we're going to get a taste of things to come here.
Absolutely.
So where did Midnight Oil come from? Where did the idea for a brewery, was the journey?
Interestingly, I got into brewing to save cash, and it just spun wildly out of control.
Good answer, good answer.
No, that's a terrible answer.
I think that's great.
That's why I would do it.
Yeah. I was spending like $500 a week on commercial beer.
Oh, my God.
It was bad. So...
Were you either buying stuff that was that expensive, or were you just buying that much?
A little
Yes.
bit of
Or
both.
both? Yeah.
Yes, good answer. Good answer.
So, to kind of take the sting off that a bit, I started brewing to kind of cut into that, and I started having some parties. I had parties every Friday and Saturday.
Oh, all right.
And then people were drinking up all my beer, so I had to keep brewing to keep up with demand, and one thing led to another, and I'm opening a brewery.
All right.
Well,
So-
congratulations.
I
thanks.
really like this. So I started brewing to save money. Then I started throwing parties and serving people the beer I brewed, and eventually now I'm opening a brewery.
Yeah.
So,
That's
long
good.
story short, he's really bad with money.
It's not it's a bad look.
Well, I was going to say, so Mike, you are the brewer. You're the beer guy. So we have to take care of the money for you. Patrick, you are the director of taproom operations and sales.
Correct.
Which means you are the responsible one, right?
Yeah. Depending upon where this is broadcast, absolutely not. No, I'll be kind of the person inside of and out front in the tap room, as well as working with our sales team to get our beer out into the market, to restaurants and pubs, and also into liquor stores. And then also heading up what happens inside of the tap room, training the bar staff that way.
Cool. So you guys, you're planning on have obviously a tap room where you serve your beers. You can do any food there.
We'll have the opportunity for restaurants to come in and do pop-up events.
Oh, okay, cool.
One weekend only, kind of like a get it while it's here mentality. And then we'll also have food trucks for lunch. And but the goal is to bring restaurants that aren't normally accessible to people in the Newark area, bring them into town from North Wilmington or even out of state. And we'll have a space where they can do their prep work and set up shop and do one or two events a weekend.
That's cool. That's a really cool
Yeah.
idea. I like that. And so is the focus then going to be on distribution as sort of the end goal to be...
Yeah, right out the gate, our focus will be pouring the beer into the tap room, and then within 6 months to a year, we'll be distributing out into the market.
Very nice.
Very cool. And you brought 2 beers to the table for us to try. And I guess we'll start with the light one.
This is Serenity. We'll start with Serenity now.
Yes, that's a good way.
Yeah, Serenity now. And this is a peach chamomile blonde.
Rye blonde.
Peach chamomile rye blonde.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, and I probably spelled chamomile wrong in my notes. So
I'm
it's good
sure
to-
I did.
Yeah. But where did that idea come from? Because I don't know that I've seen that combination of things together ever.
That's kind of where that idea came from. The rule of thumb is essentially if you have rye, don't use fruit, and I don't like that, so I decided.
Well, rules are maybe
We got a
broken.
Yeah, so I thought we'd give it a go.
Yeah.
But the root idea came from a friend of mine, actually, who doesn't drink at all. But he said, we were sort of working on a video game together. And the premise of it was that there was a giant turtle from space, and he'd come to procreate with our moon. but it had a shiny shell.
Because as we all know, the moon is an egg.
So nobody could sleep. So the original name for this beer was Save Sleepy Time, and the name of the turtle was Peaches. So he said you should brew a beer with peaches and chamomile. So that's where Save Sleepy Time came from. But then, I don't know, just kind of evolved into Serenity from there. We got more and more peaches into it, adjusted a bunch of stuff. It wasn't the same beer as it was when it was born, but this is what we got now.
It's really nice. It's actually surprisingly sweet in a pleasant way, like more than I would have expected.
I haven't taken a sip yet, but the aroma is great. It's very, I think it's inviting might be a good word for it, but it's
really
it's
interesting.
pleasant.
I like it.
I get a little bit of the peach out of the aroma, not so much of the chamomile, but I'm going to take a sip.
See, and I get a ton of the chamomile.
Really?
Yeah.
I will admit, I think I'm getting sick because my left nostril doesn't work right now, so at least the right nostril gets peach. Maybe the left nostril will get the chamomile.
Keep the microphone to yourself.
Yeah.
The peach and the chamomile pair really nicely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's very so. This is a before bed beer.
Yeah, and it's also 3.5%.
3.5%.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. So you can just we like to say it pairs well with a hammock. Like you just drink it all day and hang out outside when it's nice out.
It's funny that you mentioned video games, because one thing I was going to say is I have
here we go.
One of these weird random moments. Sometimes when I drink a beer, it just spontaneously reminds me of something totally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And when I first drank this, it reminded me of sitting in a basement playing The Legend of Zelda on Super Nintendo when I was a kid. I don't know why.
That's good.
Must have been some kind of potpourri that was in the room.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe it was chamomile.
Yeah, knowing
or
what was
something.
around the house. Yeah.
Or mom calling down the steps, honey, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
Get your chamomile and get in bed.
Awesome.
So, what size system are you brewing on right now, and what size system do you plan to have once you open?
So right now we just sort of operate out of a converted 2-car garage, but there's a half-barrel system in it. So when we open up here, we'll be purchasing a 20-barrel system.
Wow, you're jumping right in there.
Yeah, we'll also have like a pilot, so
Right.
we'll brew to scale and then attempt to scale it up effectively without messing it up too bad.
So we have another beer, a slightly darker beer, and this is Sundown Saison.
That's correct.
Saison.
I'm getting banana in the aroma.
Yeah.
Like fresh banana.
Oh, yeah.
Could be the yeast.
Yeah, it's definitely the yeast.
Yeah,
it's a green banana smell, is what we've been told.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of banana to eat, by the way. I will only eat bananas if they're green.
Oh, that's really
Just
nice.
putting that out there.
I like that. Ooh. I'm a big fan of Saison.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Sundown Saison. So is there a cool space turtle story about this beer?
I'm sorry, there's not. No.
Ah, man.
All right. So it's just sort of a straightforward...
I like Saison.
Your Saison,
And
yeah.
I actually wanted to be known as like the Saison brewery when we really started cooking, so I had like 4 or 5 Saisons, and this is one of them.
Very nice.
So are these two beers that you brought to the table today, are these beers that you plan to have as flagships or that you want to have on all the time, or do these just happen to be 2 beers that you had ready to go and you're like, we like these, let's take them?
Right. We during this time of the year, we like to have Serenity ready. It's a popular beer with all the events that we do, and when people do the tastings, they seem to like it, so we wanted to make sure that we had it available. Saison is something that we'll have year-round. But Serenity, we use fresh white peaches. So
it depends on the
It's a seasonal thing, yeah.
And you know, I got to say the fresh peach on that does come through, and it blends really well with the chamomile. And I do really enjoy the Saison.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm not as into Saisons as I guess either of you are, but I don't know that I've had a Saison that had this flavor to it before. Because most of them you get a little more of the yeast characteristic or some of the spices too, but this blends it all very well, and I still get that banana in the aftertaste, which I don't know that I've had with a Saison before.
It's really nice, and I think it's a nice, easy drinking Saison, but it has a assertive flavor, and not. I mean, that might sound bad. I don't mean that in a bad way, but some like sort of run of the mill Saisons that are just kind of nothing crazy in them are a little more subdued. Where this is like
it stands
it's
out.
got a bold taste to it that's really nice, but it drinks very easily.
No, thanks.
Yeah, I really like this.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So you said you're shooting for June or July, 2017, I assume. Do you get to do a lot of tastings or events? Will the government let you do that if you're not technically open?
There are regulations in place.
Yeah.
We have to double and triple check with the ABC and the ATE to make sure that we're good, just because we are not quite licensed yet.
Right.
But as a matter of fact, the deputy commissioner of the ABC recently told us, I can't wait for you guys to open so that you will stop calling me.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome.
So you guys have a website, Facebook that people can follow to see when they're up and running. So
We're also on Untapped, so you can check these beers in.
Oh,
on
cool.
Untapped.
check them all in, which I'm sure
Already
Steph has
done.
already done.
Steph's already
Steph's
done.
already done it.
Awesome.
So midnightoil.com, Midnight Oil Brewing.
MidnightOilBrewing.com.
Okay.
Well-
and it's also mobrewing.com, so either one works.
I was going to say midnightoil.com is probably taken.
That's a good
I
point.
limited
I
it
hadn't
to
thought
just
of
the one, and no, there's like 3 people that'll get that.
Probably more than 3.
I know.
Oh, my.
I know.
Well,
So-
best of luck to you guys.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
we look
Thank you.
forward to you guys opening. We'll definitely come down and check it out.
Yeah, definitely follow it. And I'm realizing I need to get through Delaware a little more.
A lot of great beers, yeah.
That's going to start next summer then also. I mean, it's
Some
going to ring
awesome
through
beers
still
there.
then. So I'm thinking weekend beach trips. to
Yes.
Delaware. Cool. All right,
good.
gentlemen, best of luck. Thank you for coming up here and bringing these beers with. They are great, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to offer when you're finally open.
Outstanding.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys. Cheers.
All right, take care.
So Rich is in the process of rounding up yet another brewery here at the event. But we had a couple attendees come up that wanted to talk to us, and we're always grateful for that. So we've got Tim and Mike, correct?
That's correct.
All right. I would hope that I didn't already forget that. But guys, thank you for coming up to the table with us.
You're welcome.
So you guys you're from Delaware, I'd assume, right?
Tim lives in Pennsylvania. I live in Delaware.
We're in Pennsylvania.
Southern Chester County.
Okay. We're Philadelphia and Reading, PA, so out in Berks. But it's a nice trip down to here. It was a very beautiful drive, and I'm happy to be here at the event. Is this your first time at Wine and Dinosaurs?
It is, yes.
Yep. What do you think so far?
Fun so far,
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So what are you guys drinking? I know you each have a little something in your glasses there.
It better be beer.
It's beer. It looks like beer. It's definitely beer.
I've never seen any wine foam like that.
That's all I'm going to say.
I'm having a wheat beer from the Oyster Brewery.
Big Oyster.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we had
the
them on
donor
earlier.
recently, yep.
I was telling Mike, I happen to be brewing a wheat beer right now myself. My daughter comes home from Colorado for Thanksgiving, so I'm brewing a wheat beer for her because that's what she likes.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
That's cool. How long have you been brewing?
I brewed first time in 1982.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the year I was born.
I've been brewing quite a long
For
time.
as long as I've been alive.
Yes.
Very
yeah,
nice.
and at that time, there weren't that many supply houses, so you had to really. And it's pre-internet, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really blown up lately. So I mean, that's great. Have you stuck with it the whole time, or were there any hiatus?
Well, when my kids were young, I stopped for 8 or 10 years, but we've been going at it. I have a friend. We brew together. We'll brew a 10-gallon batch, and he takes a 5-gallon Cornelius keg, and I take the other Corny keg. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
So split it, and awesome. So, Mike, do you do any brewing, or you just drink beer?
No, I'm pretty much a drinker.
Okay, so
That's
Dan
same
and I.
here. Absolutely.
Steph does a lot of home brewing, and has actually done some interning at commercial breweries. But Dan did attempt. We recently tried. He got a Mr. Beer kit. It made an American Light.
Quote, American Light was the
It wasn't
style.
even a light lager, it was just an American Light.
Yeah, they didn't want to classify it as anything. It was drinkable.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
It wasn't good,
That's all
but
I
it
aimed
wasn't
for.
terrible.
I just did it as a joke. I got it for Christmas, and I went with it. And I don't have any intention of continuing because I don't have time, and I don't want to mess it up. I'll leave it to the people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, sure.
Such as people who have been doing it for 34 years.
Yeah, you didn't have to mention that.
So, do you have any plans to do anything commercial with brewing, or it's just a hobby for you?
Not really.
Just,
It's always been a hobby.
Cool.
I mean, we try to pay attention to our recipes. We take notes and the like, but
course, yeah.
but no, not commercial.
All right,
Yeah.
just something cool that you do.
And there's something to be said for that because I feel like a lot of home brewers, like they start brewing in their first batch and then they're done and then they think, all right, I'm opening a brewery.
Well,
Right.
when you homebrew a beer and give it to your friends, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is so great," and then you get a big head, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to make $1 million.
Right.
I'm going to open a brewery in 5 years. I'm going to sell it to AB InBev, and I'm going to retire with $6 million."
And there's nothing wrong with planning to open your own brewery. I mean, everybody's got to have an entrepreneurial spirit, but there's something to be said for keeping it a hobby because you know that it's a hobby. You enjoy doing it. You enjoy drinking it, but that's what you want to leave it at. There's something to be said for that. So I commend you for that.
And opening a business is just hard work. Mike and I work for a small business, and we understand what that is.
So you've already done that. All right.
Yeah, we have some breweries as customers as well, which is kind of fun.
Oh, cool. What do you guys do?
We're engineers. We do automation systems.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
is Twin Lakes here? Have you seen? I think I saw them walk in.
They are on the list.
Yeah, we've had those guys as a customer. They actually called us up one time because their kegging machine was busted.
Okay.
And so we don't work in usually that business. We're in the bigger chemical, pharmaceutical.
Right,
but they called us up. Their kegging machine wasn't working, and we let them pay us in beer.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's usually how we get paid.
That's how we get
Well,
paid.
yeah,
Most
exactly.
of the time. That's about right.
It's not a bad barter system.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So you've got the beer in your glasses from Big Oyster. How many other breweries have you gotten to try so far? I know it's early in the event still.
It's only my second. I had a hop nosh from Unita.
Yeah.
I haven't had that one yet.
That actually is the other beer that I had. That's it's well done.
You guys need to mix it up and do different things. You're both
no, we weren't together. We just
Yeah.
we just got together, and I said, Tim, we have to try to get on this podcast. This is fun of it.
Well, you are now internet famous.
Yeah.
I appreciate the spirit. I appreciate the spirit.
So,
all right, guys. Well, what's the name of your company? We'll let you plug your company.
Absolutely.
Applied Control Engineering.
Applied Control Engineering. Brewers, if your
You
brewery
need
breaks,
stuff related to that.
there you go.
And apparently they do accept beer as payment.
Yeah.
There you go. We will.
Yeah, we'll work for beer.
It saves you money on buying beer, so it makes sense. It's almost as good as money.
Awesome.
Good. All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sitting down with us,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Have
Enjoy the
fun.
rest of your event, man.
Enjoy the event, man.
Yeah,
It's going to be a lot of
cheers.
fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers. So we're sort of breaking the trend of the day with, I don't want to say it's a brewery that we've heard of. We even had somebody on the show a while ago who was associated with a brewery. We had the Beer Wench on last year who works for or used to work for Green Flash.
She still does.
Still
She's
does.
around
That's what I
Green
thought.
Flash,
Yeah. Because her Instagram, she followed me on Instagram as Green Flashly, which I thought was a great tag for her, a great name for her. Yeah. We had her on last year, but now we have somebody. So Dennis is here at the table with us from Dops Inc., and I'm glad I clarified on how to spell that, but you are representing Green Flash today.
That is correct.
All right.
So first, what the heck is Dops Inc.?
That is where I was going to start.
We're a local distributor. We work out of D.C., Baltimore, and Delaware. So D.C., Maryland, and Delaware.
Awesome. And is Dops like somebody's name, or does it mean something?
It's actually a combination of the owners' names.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's a portmanteau, as it were.
There you go. You have it.
And Green Flash is just one of many breweries, I imagine, that you represent.
Absolutely. Yes, we represent Schlafly, Uinta, Green Flash, Roy Pitts, Shipyard, Sea Dog. It goes on and on.
Wow.
And then we have about 150 some wines as well. So
Wow.
Cool.
Very
yeah,
cool.
I think we don't often appreciate the distributors enough in the craft beer world.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
It's a
guys.
huge part.
There's
Gotta get
those
the
of
beer
us
out
like
there somehow.
Steph that will drive across the country and visit every single brewery around
Yeah, I
the
was
way.
telling Dennis before we sat down, I've been to Green Flash in San Diego, and even though it's not technically open yet, I've been to the Green Flash in Virginia Beach.
She was scouting them out.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was, exactly.
I was like,
But
is
then
there a
you
way
have
I can break in?
people like Dan and I who get to breweries to do our podcast, but then the rest of the time we just go to bottle shops and
Pretty much,
buy
yeah.
cans and bottles of beers, and it's people like Dennis who allow us
I do that every day.
to
Make
be
that
lazy
possible for us.
and drink awesome beers in
Yeah.
the comfort of our own homes.
No.
My couch.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But how long have you been doing the craft beer game?
Well, I've always been in the hospitality business, so I guess you could say since I could reach in a cooler.
Good answer.
That's a great answer.
That's a
Fantastic.
great answer.
And you have two beers that you brought to the table today,
Yes.
and the first one is a pretty new beer from Green Flash.
It is this year, actually. The Passion Fruit Kicker. It's a wheat ale. They use wheat malt, passion fruit. They use the real passion fruit. They use a little bit of the rind, steep it down, and make a nice tea out of it. It's 5 IBU and about 5.5 ABV.
Wow. And on the can, it says delicious and in big bold letters, tart.
It is
Yeah,
And I
tart.
think
you get a little
tart
tart.
is-
Not overwhelming, though. Not
Yeah.
No,
super
not the
tart.
least,
No,
But
yeah.
it's
no.
definitely tart. A pleasant tartness, as it
Wow.
were. It's quite tasty.
I call it Green Flash's patio pounder.
Patio pounder,
Because
yeah.
you can start with a
Nice.
number of cases, and before you know it, you're like,
Whoops.
what the heck
Where
happened
did it all
here?
go?
Why did the room start spinning?
Oh, it's
And
very
they got,
nice.
They got a cool skateboard doing the kicker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So they do a really good job on their packaging on the cans. They give you as much info as they possibly can.
But without it being like
overwhelming.
a flood of
Yeah.
I got the first time I found out about Green Flash, I was at a bar in Philly, and my roommate was with me at the time, and I'd like to think I'm a little bit of a nerd. He is even more of a nerd, and the only reason he ordered it is because his favorite superhero is the Flash. So he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the Flash." Ha ha ha! I forget what it was. I thought that was the name of the beer at first. Then I realized no, there's another one that says that. This was like 2011, but that's how I first found out about them. So they've been on my radar since then. Admittedly, I don't think in Philadelphia there's enough of a distribution of Green Flash because I don't see them at my normal shop.
We're seeing a lot more and more of it in our area.
Which I mean, if opening up in Virginia is in the future, that's probably going to mean better East Coast distribution.
And they're just growing and growing. I mean, they now have the Cellar 3, the barrel aged program.
And we'll start seeing more of that come out on the East Coast from the Virginia brewery.
I like to hear that.
That was super limited production. Basically, they're tasting room brews under the Cellar 3 name. So we'll start seeing more of those come out this way.
Awesome. And the Virginia brewery is set to open to the public, I guess, in November.
Yep, about 2 months away.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So I guess I'll just have to go back to Virginia Beach. What a hardship.
Oh, darn.
I know, right? And you can stop through all of Delaware on the way and stop at all the awesome breweries that we met today.
That's true.
Breweries,
that's true.
distilleries. Yeah. Delaware's bumping.
This is very true.
So I'm excited about the second beer that's at the table.
So what did you think of the first one?
The first one was incredible. It's nice.
Super refreshing.
The tart, I didn't see tart on the can, so I wasn't expecting a tartness.
Right.
But it was really nice. In fact, I for a moment I was thinking that maybe it was some sort of like mild sour beer, but it's just got a tiny little.
It almost
extra,
reminds you of a Berliner Weiss.
Yeah,
almost,
a little
almost,
bit. Yeah,
it's right on that cusp.
It's a good way to put it. I like that the passion fruit is used well. It's passion fruit. I feel like is a hard flavor to come across and a hard one to use, especially in a beer. But it works here.
You don't get and they don't use the sugary in this. They don't try to overcompensate. They allow the real fruit to really bleed through. Yeah,
and that's what's great about it. It's light, it's fruity, it's crisp, it's refreshing, and you're right. It's the one you could go through, and before you know it, you're accidentally drunk.
Oops,
whoops.
The patio pounder.
So
patio pounder.
The next one is another pretty recent addition to the Green Flash lineup.
The Soul Style IPA. Now, this one, they use a combination of the Simcoe, Citra, and Cascade hops. Gives it a nice tropical palate. It's 75 IBU and 6.5 ABV.
It's been a while since I had this beer, and I forgot how amazing it is.
They actually just released this one also with tangerine.
Really?
So same recipe, but they just added real tangerine to it. So they kind of trademarked this one to a bright tropical, and then you have the tangerine version as well.
Very
Delicious.
nice. I like it's a little catty.
Yep,
it is.
I knew you were going to say
As soon as I heard Simcoe, I knew you were going to get excited.
It's catty. I love that you get some of that cattiness, if you will, in the aroma, but it's not overpowering in the flavor.
Right, correct. That's not trademarked, is it? Cattiness?
I hope not.
Okay. Patio pounder is, by the way.
Patio pounder.
Oh, all right.
You need a clip of Moo whenever we mention cattiness. And just have,
I should.
Oh my God.
That's your cat?
That's
Moo
my
is Dan's
cat.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is delicious. This is really.
Very
you get
good.
nice waves of hops.
Yeah.
It just kind of keeps on flowing.
And it's not like super like dank like. Like I drank a can of this and I'd be like, oh, that was delicious, but I can't do the hop dankness anymore. I need something else.
It's well balanced.
It is balanced.
You
it's
get the
crisp
hops
and
you
clean.
want, but it's
got
not
that
overwhelming.
tropical character sort of at the end that helps kind of wash out the danker qualities in the front. It's really nice.
I'd be interested in trying the tangerine version.
Yeah, so go get some of that, Dennis.
I don't have any of that. So.
Well, I mean, go to a liquor store. Go to
all the local stores have it. I have it everywhere up
there's
here.
a Total Wine around here, I'm told. So
Yeah, there's one in Wilmington.
Yeah. I'm going to stop there on the way home. So are these the only beers that you have for Green Flash for today?
For today, yes.
Okay.
We only did the two.
That's cool. I mean, this is a good offering of the of everything they have.
Yeah, and then I also have a rep from Uinta here with me today too,
cool.
doing his two beers.
I believe they might be coming up to the table next.
Oh, really? He will. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Call them khakis.
Khakis.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it.
Writing that down.
Well, Dennis, it was awesome to meet you. Thanks for
great,
doing
guys.
what you're doing because of you, we can get all these awesome beers.
Yes,
so
thank you
we
for
appreciate
bringing
it.
us good
Well,
beer.
thanks for coming to me, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
So we have joining us now at the table. I got to admit, a brewery I am familiar with, or at least aware of. But I'm very happy to have somebody from this brewery here with us. We've got Doug from Uinta Brewing. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks
Great.
for having me. Appreciate it.
Nice job with the pronunciation, by the way.
When I walked past the table, I was like, "Oh, Unita's here," and then I realized, "Whoops, nope."
Uinta.
Yes,
I
Uinta.
Like you into that.
That's a good way to look at it.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
If someone would have said that to us
finally,
years
yeah.
ago.
I imagine you get a lot of Unita, though.
Yes, people botch the name of the brewery all the
Oh,
time.
of course,
All
of
the
course.
time. It's a
Oh,
tough
I
name.
still don't always pronounce it correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it
know.
seems fairly normal.
I know.
And you, of all people.
I know.
What do you normally say?
I don't know. Different stuff every time.
Uinta.
I think our listeners know that I'm pretty poor at pronunciation of things.
Sometimes.
How could you?
I even practice before. Like, if there's a hard word that I need to pronounce, I will practice it. But when it comes down to it and the microphone's in front of me, I still won't
I mean,
mispronounce
it's you go into muscle memory at that point.
Uinta.
It's named after a mountain range runs east to west.
All right, I was going to ask where that comes from. Okay,
and I believe it's an Indian name. It's got to be.
Yes,
probably.
It certainly
sounds like it would be. Yeah.
Well, I've got to ask too. So you're on your shirt, you have the logo, but you also
Yes.
have Earth, Wind, and Beer.
Right.
Is that like the tagline of the brewery?
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where'd that come? Is that like also of Indian?
It came from Earth, Wind, and Fire. So
okay.
In the 70s, they're pretty big.
Oh, like the band.
It's our favorite band.
Okay. All right.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
No.
See, I can appreciate that. At least you own up to it. And
I was going to say, do you also manufacture Earth and Wind as well as beer?
Right. Well, they are in Salt Lake City. So.
Well, yeah.
It's 100% renewable energy. That's
okay. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
But at least you own up to the band reference, and I got to throw out love to our friends at Midnight Oil. I
Right.
told them I would not make a Midnight Oil the band reference, and I slipped one
I
in
liked
there.
it. It's good.
But the one of them had said that he hadn't heard "Beds Are Burning" before the
Until
brewery.
the
Yeah,
brewery, yeah.
which I find strange because that's a very classic song.
It is a classic
So
song.
at least you guys own up to it. So if based out of Salt Lake City, are you from Salt Lake City?
No, I'm the area sales manager for D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware.
Okay, fair enough.
The great state of Delaware.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so how?
It is a great state, as
Thank
we're
you.
learning today.
It's an awesome state. That's
the first state.
Our first podcast in Delaware. Our first podcast in the first state.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
Don't drop the mic, please.
Instead of dropping the mic, why don't we drink beer?
I could always do that.
Well, I was going to say, so you're based in Salt Lake City. How wide does Uinta distribute? Is it nationwide?
Right now, we're in 38 states right now.
Okay.
And we're the 36th largest brewer in the country. So
Nice.
top 1% in the nation.
Nice. And how long has the brewery been around?
1993.
93. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
And how long have you been with Uinta?
I've been here a year and 2 months.
Cool.
Very lucky.
cool.
Happy belated anniversary.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
And
it.
I will be in Salt Lake City next summer, so I will
Very
have
cool.
to,
Have to stop by,
It'll
yeah.
be my first
Oh yeah,
time
that's
in Salt
your
Lake
big
City.
road trip, right?
Part of our crazy 5,000-mile road trip.
So is
Very nice.
I got to ask, is Utah the state that has the really crazy-ish
Yes.
liquor laws? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a little weird there.
So I'd imagine being a rep for them. Have you gone to?
Yes.
Okay. What's it like?
So imagine we're at a bar, and there's a 4% draft law, so everything on the drafts needs to be 4%.
Right.
Right.
Everything in the cooler can be like 7%, 8%, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
it doesn't, but it.
Well, it doesn't make
That's
I
Utah
understand.
right there.
I understand
Yeah.
the words you are saying,
So 4%
but it doesn't
draft
make
But
any
the concept
sense.
does not resonate.
Now, I was at a brew pub in Zion National Park in Utah, and we had to order food in order to get beer.
Right.
How does that work when you visit the brewery? Like, is there a tasting or something? Can you just sample beer, or
You can sample there. There's also a brew pub as well,
okay?
and we do have food.
Okay.
Delicious
But
food.
can you just order beer, or do you have to order food?
No, you can order beer,
Okay.
and if you want food, you can have food.
Okay.
It's kind of like Pennsylvania, different licenses for different things, I suppose. But
Although I got to say, anytime I think Pennsylvania's bad, I think of Utah. No offense.
That's fine.
I don't know.
He's not from Utah.
Well, I
just
know, but the
brewery
company is. The company is.
I get that all the time. It's all good.
Let's drink some beer.
Let's drink some beer.
Of course, of course.
So we have. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Our first pumpkin beer on the podcast for this season.
Yeah.
This will be the first pumpkin
And it's
beer.
September,
It's
so
the
I'll allow
end
it.
So it's
of
okay.
September, and this
Yeah.
episode's airing in October, so this is
So I'll
certainly
definitely allow
allowable.
it.
This is very seasonal.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is pumpkin. That's punk apostrophe N.
Pumpkin.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about?
So this is just a 4% beer. A little nutmeg, a little cinnamon in there. Not very lightly spiced, not too syrupy. Just really well done, really well balanced for the season, especially Delaware, Maryland, D.C. We're below the border. Well, Maryland is, so it's great for this type of season.
Is there actually pumpkin in this beer?
Yeah, it's made with 100% pumpkin puree.
Oh, cool. It's very good.
It tastes a little more. Normally, you get with pumpkin beers, you get like pumpkin and extra spices that kind of make it taste like pumpkin pie. I feel like I'm getting strictly pumpkin out of this.
Yes,
which is awesome, and it's done very well. And it's not overpowering, but it's blended very well with everything else that's there. And now that I'm talking after I took my sip, I get some spices kind of in the late aftertaste.
Yeah, in the back end of the palate.
Yeah,
yeah. It's subtle. It's not this pumpkin spice syrupy.
It's not a pumpkin bomb.
Exactly.
Right.
Like it's a nice drinkable, crushable
exactly
pumpkin beer.
Crushable,
Exactly.
air quotes. I don't hate it. I think our listeners know that
I hate it.
I have this hate relationship with pumpkin beers.
I have a love-hate.
Early on in this podcast, I liked them, but I'm
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they get a little Fruity
I am
Pebbles.
very over them, but this is, like you said, not overwhelming. The flavors are there, slightly more subtle, and I like that it finishes clean.
And you know what? Actually, what's cool about this is it's a beer first, and then it's
That's a
That's
good
a
way
good
to
way to put it.
Yeah. Everything we try to do at the brewery is well balanced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with you just got a fairly recognizable name and a reputation to uphold. So that's something that's good that you're living up to that. And it is a beer first, and then there's pumpkin with it, which I appreciate. Steph, you need a marker over there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you spilled.
Oh, did you spill a bit?
See, even Khakis gets it.
I get it. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, this beer, the next one up, we have been told about by some attendees that stepped up to the microphone. This is the Hop Nosh.
Hop Nosh IPA. This is our flagship IPA.
Cool.
This is 7.3 alcohol, 82 IBUs, and this is brewed with Chinook and Galaxy
Swain
hop.
fills you half of a goblet.
That was a bit much, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
It's all right. I only have to drive. It's fine. It's from Utah. It doesn't have any
Have
alcohol
a
in
couple and drive home.
I got a couple hours.
What is the ABV on this?
7.3.
7.3. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, okay, sorry, Dan. That is a bit much.
Yep.
It's all right.
So you
I'll
get some
go
fruit
eat
notes
after
in there. It's going to be very well malted. Very well balanced.
There's a
Consider it
strong
like
malt
pumpkin.
backbone, but without overpowering the hops.
Nope.
Can you? I know that I wrote about this when I
Sure.
did the new brew review on this beer. Can you talk about the compass around the top of the cans?
So,
cool.
Yeah, our job title, we're like orienteers, and the definition of orienteers is like guiding people on a journey. So
Right.
I'm basically guiding people on their beer discovery. The compass can is just the northeast, southwest of guiding people to delicious beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't even notice that until
You
she
should do
mentioned it.
a limited can release with like a real compass in there.
On top.
Yeah.
All our cans do have the compass can.
That's cool. But you should have a real compass.
Like a functioning needle.
Where
on it.
is True North?
Or
No, it
they
just
sell
points
you
to
the,
the brewery.
beer, and then they give you a compass to
That's
go
true. When
find
you
it.
have too many, you can use the compass, pull it out.
I was hoping somebody would go existential and say True North is inside.
No, the True North is Canada.
Oh, yeah. But this beer is delicious, and I don't think I've had this beer before.
I have not had either of these beers before.
Did we
And I
happen
very
to
much
mention...
enjoyed
So I know we mentioned the ABV. What was the IBU level?
82.
82. All right.
them. 82.
It's a calm 82. It's not overpowering.
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't
doesn't-
like punch your palate.
It's not like eating a cigar. It's
Yeah.
pleasant.
Do you ever get eating a cigar out of IPAs?
Sometimes.
Have you ever eaten a
The
cigar?
one I had
Yeah,
at
you
your
can
homebrew
get
club
tobacco
meeting that
notes.
was supposedly like 500 IBUs that Beardy
what?
McMustache made.
Yeah. Baldy McMustache.
Baldy McMustache. That's his name.
Dougie Fresh.
Oh, all right.
That was that. I enjoyed that was an experience, but that was like chewing on a freaking cigar. Like that was crazy.
Never, ever, ever think I've heard that analogy.
No, you have.
Metaphor?
Chewing on a cigar, huh?
It's a day of firsts.
It is a day of firsts. First podcast in the first state. First time I've had Hop Notch. First time I've heard chewing on a cigar.
And first time we've met khakis.
Yes. I am here.
Well, thank you for stepping up to the table.
Oh,
it was
you're
awesome
very
to
wel-
meet
thanks
you
for having
and
me.
to share
Appreciate
these
it.
delicious beers with
I've
us.
got one question
Ask away.
before we say goodbye.
Yes.
Obviously, you are currently wearing khakis. Is that where the name came from?
Well, no, kind of. So if you guys meet a lot of brew reps, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a beard and they have shorts and they wear sandals.
More or less,
True,
yeah.
yeah.
I have slick back gelled hair.
Clean shaven
Clean shaven.
and khakis.
You can run your hands through my hair if you want. And khakis.
Well, when we walked in, too, so there's obviously wine here at Wine and
Right.
Dinosaurs, but there's beer, and you can tell who's with a winery and who's with a
Right.
vineyard.
You're kind of
You
on the
bring-
fence.
you
I'm
bridge
a,
the gap.
I'm a hybrid style.
Yeah.
Go either way.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've got the only way I would have known that you're from a brewery is you went to brewing
Yeah.
on your shirt.
I get a lot of snarls from my khakis walking around town.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with a
nothing wrong
nice
with that,
pressed
though.
pair of
It's like the
khakis.
guy from
I'm
Dock
sorry.
Street.
Oh.
The best looking beer rep
The
in
best
Pennsylvania.
looking beer rep
Oh,
in
Sasha.
Pennsylvania.
that's
yeah.
it,
Sasha.
Sasha.
Actually, you remind me a little bit of him. So.
Oh, thank you.
That's a big, that's a
great
compliment.
thing. Yeah, Sasha's
Take it and run.
What a wonderful compliment.
Yeah,
Thank you.
take it, say
We
goodbye.
don't
guys are
give
so
out too
kind.
many of those.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
thanks so
glad
much,
we
man.
could. I'm glad we could have you up to the table, and I'm glad you could share these awesome beers with us. And it's just a small sampling of what Uinta's got. So if it's available where you are, certainly get some of these beers. And I'm surprised it took us this long to have a pumpkin beer on the show.
I think we're good.
We came in with style.
We picked a good time.
We entered the season with style. It's going to be okay for another 2 months. How soon? When do you guys sell pumpkin?
The pumpkin will be out to the end of October.
But when does
When
it
did
start?
it start?
Oh, August. So you guys are at the perfect time right now.
That's not the
it is
worst.
fall.
As long as it doesn't come out in June, we're good.
Yeah, no months to
No,
start with Jay.
ask Southern Tier. They're here. So
That's we've
get them up
had
to the microphone.
A few discussions
He's
about that.
opening cans of worms left and
well,
right.
I'm sorry.
That's where
Fruity Pebbles.
that came from. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
All right.
But Khakis,
Before you
thanks
do
for coming
any
up
more
to the table.
Thank you very much.
Doug.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming up and share these beers with us, man. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Joining us at the table now, so even though we're in Delaware, we still have a Pennsylvania brewery that's here.
Damn
and
straight.
Of course, we got to represent
Right,
the
gotta
PA.
represent the home state, man.
I have known about this brewery for a while now. A friend of mine texted me pictures when she was there once and asked if I was there. I have not made it out yet, and I am glad that you're here because I've been dying to try your beers. I've heard so much. From Boxcar Brewing, we have Jamie here. Thank you for coming up to the table.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Jamie, you guys have been open for quite a while.
Actually, we started paperwork back in 2008 and sold our first beer in 2010. We're basically focused as distribution in the local area, self-distribution. And then a few years back, a year and a half now, we opened a brew pub on Market Street in Westchester.
Fantastic.
So that's been the main focus.
It's about time we go back to Westchester.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
I think so.
Love to have you.
Yeah. And Jamie, you are one of the owners.
I am, yes, yeah.
So why the hell did you want to open a brewery?
Funny story.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah. Well, as all good ideas, I guess, come from, it was a drunken wedding, and in particular, a drunken Irish wedding, in which I was there with a partner of mine, and we were there, and he had made a bunch of home brews for the wedding, and we sat around and drinking the home brews, and about 10, 12 in, we said we should stop buying this stuff. Let's just make it and start a brewery. So that's the path that we started going down, and kind of went from there.
Fantastic.
We had Boxcar on the show,
With
not
Greg
somebody
Orth.
from, but with Greg Orth with the chocolate and beer pairing.
Oh, yeah.
We have a tradition every Valentine's Day. We have Greg Orth from Craft Tastings, who does food and beer pairings focusing on chocolate originally. And we did Boxcar. I don't remember the beer.
I
or
think
the
it was the
chocolate
mango ginger.
specifically. That sounds right. Yeah.
But it was not the Imperial.
Right. Yes, I believe
Spoiler
you're correct.
alert, we're drinking the Imperial.
Yes, that is happening.
Momentarily.
Had I known, I would have sent the Belgian triple along. That just goes so well with chocolate. It really does.
Oh, really?
We'll have to tell
yeah.
Greg.
I'm sure Greg has paired it with.
More than likely.
He is the expert.
Because if I remember, I think the chocolate we had was a ginger chocolate. Didn't have ginger in it, and we because that where peri peri or matchy
matchy pairing.
something like that came from. Ooh, I have a fork now.
That's true.
It could be. Our listeners are probably shaking their head, going, "No, Steph, you're thinking of the wrong thing."
Well, I mean,
we'll have to go back.
Hey, we were there, man.
We were.
I know. Yeah, we experienced the whole thing. I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So at Boxcar, you guys bottle your beers, correct?
Actually, we started with hand bottling, and then I actually went out to Pittsburgh and picked up a bottling machine that was built in Philadelphia in 1963. So it was an old soda machine built by Crown Cork and Seal Company, originally out of Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
And revamped it to do our 12-ounce bottles. And we ran that for quite a while, and then we switched to canning for a little bit. And actually, we haven't done a lot of packaging since the pub opened. The majority has been draft directly to the taps and just keeping up with the demand at the pub and trying out different seasonals and things like that. So excited to bring on a new crowler machine at the pub lately. So I think they're great. Yeah.
That's my current favorite word.
They're great.
Crowler.
Yeah. Crowlers are awesome.
And it's not too trashy because you're not drinking a 40. You know what I mean?
It's not
if you,
too trashy. Crowler people, there's your new headline.
You're like, it's only 32 ounces. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just
only 2
walking
pints.
around with a 40. It's only 2 pints.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Not 2.5
Although I will
pints.
say, generally the types of beers that come in 40-ounce bottles are lower in alcohol than the types of beers that you could get at a crowler if you want.
I've seen 32 ounces of
barrel-aged triple, which
yeah.
we recently had.
Sure. Definite hangover.
Yeah.
So speaking of beer, the first beer that you brought is Passenger.
Yeah, that's a version of English mild, sort of has changed through the years. But really the idea behind that beer was to make something that was sort of transitional for people coming in and getting first introduced to craft beer, but, aren't ready to be beat over the head with hops and do the next IPA. So really give them something smooth, easy drinking, something you can have a few of, and kind of go from there. So that's where that came from.
I'm sorry, how would you describe this beer again?
I would call it a transitional ale, session
But what's
ale.
like the best adjective you can think of? Adjective.
That starts with an S.
Smooth?
Yep, there
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Dan vindicated.
Dan's
After
word.
almost 4 years, Dan is finally vindicated.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, just easy drinking, you know what I mean?
It is quite tasty.
Straightforward.
And it is, like you said, a transitional beer because this is the sort of craft beer that I feel like, somebody who's been drinking Budweiser and Coors their whole life would actually be like, oh, this is really, it's actually a little more flavorful, but it's still easy drinking enough that's not intimidating.
Yeah, that was the idea behind it. We really wanted to get the family and friends involved with this, and we had a lot of people that weren't quite into craft beer yet, so we wanted to make something that would appeal to them and kind of get them on the other side. Now I've got people, that are family, like, they're drinking IPAs like crazy, and they're like, a couple years ago or whatever, they wouldn't even dream of it. But
right.
You need a foot in the door, and then you can kind of go from there, and your palate can sort of, just continue to advance and try different things, and
yeah.
And you need that something to start with, and that was a good one to start with.
I was tailgating an Eagles game a couple of weeks ago, and it was hot because it was week 1, so end of August.
Go Birds!
Exactly, that's right. I mean, today's an important game.
Absolutely.
We had a keg of, I told myself I wasn't going to say this behind a microphone, Keystone Light.
Oh, yeah.
And
were you playing beer pong?
No.
Was Keith Stone there?
No.
Keith
No.
Stone. I forgot about Keith Stone.
You know what Keith Stone is, though? He is always smooth.
He is always smooth.
That's right. But we had that there, and this would have been much more appreciated than that. But it wouldn't. It's crisp enough that it's good for the hot day. It's flavorful enough that you know that it's real beer. And I would much rather have had a keg of this at the park.
Yeah.
So do you sell kegs, and when can I get them?
Yeah, we absolutely do, yeah. Again, that beer was just meant to sort of, get people into the craft beer, and we've kind of grown from there. But we do mostly draft. We do sell out of the brewery, and we do a little bit of local distribution, but the majority of the focus has been at the pub now. We took over an old music venue. So it used to be the Note in Westchester.
Oh, I love the Note.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we took over that space there, and we've been keeping the live music going, doing an open mic on Wednesdays.
Oh, cool.
Yep, live music on Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh
yeah.
my God, I saw one of my favorite bands is Thrice. I saw them there, and
Sure.
it's a great venue overall. So if you're keeping in that tradition of doing live music, that's great. I don't think there's a better venue you can get, especially in such a district that's in. I also saw 9 Days there a couple of years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Story of a Girl.
Yeah, there's been a number of bands that
I remember that song.
Sorry, I'm reminiscing about the Note now.
Well, there's been a number of bands that kind of have come through there without even people knowing, and then have gone what the heck was I can't remember them offhand, but we had the bass player from Cage the Elephant plays in a local band, and he comes back for a holiday show all the time because he's from the area.
That's
so
cool.
he has local friends come in for that, and they always put on a great show.
Is he the guy that's got the longer, shaggy blonde hair? Is that him?
I can't remember. It's Bodegas, I think, is the name of the band, or something like that.
Man, I met KG Elephant a while ago at an old station I worked at, and I think it was the bassist, but we had a 10-minute conversation about UFOs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a Flux Capacitors, a pretty good local, traveling jam band that's coming in there, and just
I've heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them.
And Steph knows what a flux capacitor is.
Are you proud of that?
You're welcome.
Yeah, that alone is enough to go see the show. You're like, what I mean? Back to the Future reference, I'm in.
All their songs are 88 beats per minute.
Yeah.
I see
Perfect.
what you did there. I got that.
Wow.
I got one of your nerd
And
references.
Steph is proud now.
That's
But
great.
that's so cool that you guys took that over, because that was such a great venue, and I know it had some troubles along the way, but it sounds like it's in good hands.
Yeah, we're really optimistic about the future. We had a great show last night. We had 4 local bands in. They really did a nice job. We have some local guys that run the open mic. One guy that's involved with recording, so he's really big into the local scene. and been putting together different shows and stuff like that. And it's been great. Last night was a good turnout and a lot of good local live music. So, we're happy to have them and happy to have a place for them to come and play,
It's awesome.
So we alluded to this beer earlier.
Yes, this is the Imperial.
I really want to take a sip.
version.
I've been trying to hold on. Imperial mango ginger.
It doesn't smell like it would be an Imperial. That's kind of frightening.
It's very smooth. It's very smooth. Yeah. It's
Oh, there's that word again.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we really try to approach most of our beers that way and make them sort of easy drinking, even if
you try to make all your beers smooth.
Yeah.
Dan's loving the fact that you're using the word smooth.
I think you're
There's
his
a
new favorite
whole
brewer.
inside joke with him and the word smooth.
I love it.
You have no idea about, so I'm sorry, but it's kind of funny.
You can listen to the 98 previous episodes and
find out,
catch up.
It's a good thing for a brew day to put
Yeah.
the podcast on.
Yep.
You can get through a few, but
Yes, the funny story behind that one is the whole origin of that beer is it was sort of a happy accident. Basically, we had gotten some tanks in from California, some new tanks for brewing that we brought in, and we were set to do an IPA. We were just going to do an English-style IPA, and we brewed the IPA. We put it in the tank. This was the first batch going into the new tanks. We came in the next morning, and it was fermenting much warmer than we wanted it to ferment, so it was sort of that little bit of panic moment. We're like, well, why is it doing this, So we looked around and realized that we possibly plumbed the tanks in wrong. So we had, tank 1 telling tank 2 to cool and tank 2 cooling tank 1.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had some hot fermentation. So there's a bit of a panic, and we said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And, the bouncing around trying to think of something to do, we said...
add fruit to it.
Yeah. Well, I want to add something, fruity, maybe tropical fruit, something to hide sort of the burn if it has a little bit of higher alcohols in there. Something like mango, but maybe not mango, but something kind of like mango, but not necessarily mango.
And then it was mango.
Yeah, so that was the reply. So obviously you want to add mango to this beer. I'm like, yeah, let's add mango.
Let's do that.
So we did the mango, we added the ginger, and for a week straight, it just fermented mango ginger yeast slurry onto the floor of our brewery, which we had to squeegee up every morning because it just kept ripping apart the pulp and finding more sugars to ferment.
Oh yeah.
So it just kept going and going, and every morning we're like, this place smells great, but it's a pain in the butt to squeegee up every morning. So a couple weeks later, we finally settles down, crash it out, pour a little sample, and we say, man, this is really good. We like this. So we sent it to Whole Foods, and it was their grand opening, local Whole Foods, and they went through, I don't know, like 5 kegs in a week or something, and they were calling us up, and we need more of this, and we're like, no, it's a one-off, we're not doing it again. They said, you need to do it again, so then it became sort of a regular, and we lowered it down to a 5%er to make it more of our regular beer, session ale, just because of popularity, and, it is kind of smooth.
Hey, he already gets it.
And we, every once in a while, every year or so, we come out with this Imperial version, which is more traditional to the original version, which is that stronger.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Awesome.
But yeah.
It's really good.
It's incredible.
It's nice. It almost has like a hint of vanilla in there that I've gotten out of it. That's
lots of different flavors.
Yeah,
every
a lot
time.
going
Yeah,
on.
it's very layered and complex, and I would not ever assume it is an Imperial version of something, which worries me.
It does drink pretty easy for what the ABV
Yeah, it's
is.
7.5. It kind of goes down a little. What's the word?
I would say smooth, probably.
Easy.
Oh my goodness. Well, Jamie, there's no excuse.
Not bumpy.
You're in Pennsylvania. We need to get down there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Love to have you guys. First
So
round's on me.
We'll
come
definitely
out,
be in touch.
get you some samplers, and come check out the beers and let me know what you think.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have you.
Love to. Man.
Awesome to meet you. Thanks for bringing these tasting
Yeah, man.
beers.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Our next victim has stepped up to the table. And I don't know if he knows what he's in for, but we've got Neil here from Bellefonte, which I had to spell wrong, so I would say right. But Neil, thank you for coming up to the table with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Bellefonte, where are you guys located?
We're located off of Old Capitol Trail, which is in Marshallton in Wilmington, Delaware. If you're familiar with the area, it's right near Price's Corner Shopping Center. We're in a new industrial park that was just under construction back in November of this past year. So the building's brand new. We're in the back of the facility.
So I assume the brewery's pretty new as well. When did you guys actually open?
Yeah, the tap room in the brewery actually opened the last week of May of this year.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we worked through the night, every night for the 6 months leading up to that to get the building finished and start brewing.
Very nice, very nice.
So what size system do you guys have?
We work currently on a 1.5 barrel system.
So you're brewing a lot.
Yes, we brew all the time.
All day, every day.
Yep.
Very cool. So you brought 2 beers to the table.
Yes, we brought the Orange Street Ale, which is almost our flagship beer, I would say, and the River Road IPA. Both of them have been in production for quite a few years under different names, and because we started off as home brewers, so the Orange Street Ale has been made for years.
Wow. So that's what we're starting with.
Okay.
The Orange Street.
I have to already ask this. So you've got Orange Street and River Road. Is a street name like a theme for you guys?
We name all of our beers off of things that are in the local vicinity. We have things that some of the beers are named after historically significant sites. One of our beers is a German-style Kolsch, the Kaimensi Kolsch, which is named after the Kaimensi area that was historically in Marshallton, going back to Native Americans, things like that.
But it's mostly locations.
Yeah,
that you use that. That's pretty cool. I like that theme behind it.
Yeah, a lot of people feel some kind of connection to the beer that they're drinking when they are familiar with the area that it's come from.
I'll be honest. When you said River Road, I said all River Road because there's a River Road that
Where
we grew up near.
Yeah, near where we grew up.
Yeah, so it's even if you're not from that particular area, it reaches across the board.
And to be fair, there's probably a River Road in every town.
I was going to say, everybody probably knows a
It's
River
like
Road.
If there's a river nearby.
Martin Luther King Boulevard.
You've got one in every
Main
city.
Main Street,
Elm
First
Street,
Well, yeah.
Orange
Walnut
Street.
Street.
Everyone
Street,
asks
Walmart,
which one it is.
Yeah, which one's orange? No. But I love the smell of this beer. The aroma is great. I don't get much orange in it, but I get a hint of it, which kind of makes me curious to go into it.
It's actually one of the beers that if you were to look into the ingredients and flavorings that are added into it, it sounds like it would be much stronger and more pungent than it actually is. It has citra hops. We actually use orange peels into the mix and quite a bit of honey. Past that point, you have to get specific information for it, but it sounds like it would be much more pungent than it is.
It does drink very. What's the ABV on this?
It's about 6%.
6%. It actually, surprisingly, and this doesn't happen often, I would have pegged it higher.
Really?
Usually I drink a beer and they're like, that's 9%. Like, no, you're kidding.
I think it's the sweetness from the honey.
But
Probably
the sweetness from the honey,
gives you
and it gives it that character that I was expecting more. So that's actually kind of nice to be able to get that powerful, bold flavor of a high ABV beer, but it's only 6%.
Yeah, we got lucky.
Now, is it the honey that you guys use? I know a trend if people use honey is locally sourced. Is it local to you guys?
Yes. I mean, it's still a little bit of a drive. It's in Pennsylvania, but we do get it from a family that actually harvests their own honey.
Perfect. I mean, Pennsylvania's still sort of local. I mean,
we're
tri-state.
Right on the border, of
course.
So we travel every state.
Yeah.
And hey, a little home state pride here. If you want to get like farmed ingredients for your beer, Pennsylvania is the state to go to.
That is true.
We're not biased or anything.
No, not in the least.
I'm just saying.
I was recently introduced to Dutch Gold honey in Lancaster County, and I didn't realize what a nationwide following this brand had. And we have some of their orange blossom honey right now, and that is an amazing product. It's quite tasty.
That's actually, we use orange blossom honey.
It's good.
There it is. I would not have thought a honey brand would have a national following like that, but
you can't.
More power to them.
You think about all the different plants that they use for the bees to whatever
right.
they, I mean, we were talking to the one at Dutch Gold, and they have buckwheat honey, and they have wildflower honey, and they have orange blossom honey. So this honey comes from Washington, and this honey comes from this state, and so even though the company is based in Pennsylvania and they have a huge warehouse where all the honey is stored, the honey itself actually comes from all over the nation, which was
that's cool.
Quite interesting.
It's a mini honey lesson.
Thank
you.
And this has been Know Your Honey.
Know Your Honey with Steph Hefner.
You're welcome. I'm done. So River Road.
Yes, River Road. Already making me feel nostalgic. So it's an IPA.
Because you got to have an IPA.
Well, of course. I mean, it's a staple of the craft beer community, to say the least. But what's the ABV on this one?
This one's just shy of 6.
Okay. So still, reasonable.
So I'm going to write down 5.999.
That works.
I love the smell because you get enough hoppiness to draw you into it. but I haven't taken a sip yet.
And so, what hops are in this?
Actually, I can't tell you too much about this one. One of our
It's top
partners,
secret.
One of my partners, he recently made this batch. So I'd have to speak directly to him to get some.
You can just say it's
We'll
a
just
secret.
say it's a secret. It's a solid IPA. It's very good.
Oh yeah.
So all of your beers are currently served on draft.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are any plans to do any packaging in the future?
Yes, we currently do growler fills. We sell kegs. We've looked into bottling and canning lines. We do have plans to release some beers that are some of our smaller batches into like 750 milliliter bottles for special occasions, things like that, towards the end of the year. But right now, we're just focusing on building our system to be a little bit higher and handle the increased business we've been going through.
Yeah, I guess you don't want to package too soon because your brewers will really love you guys having a, what'd you say, 1.5 barrel?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
only
you
imagine.
definitely don't
They
want
would
to
have to sleep in the brewery.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
24/7 brew. Very nice, very nice. Do you guys do food at your location? You have food trucks?
We have food trucks.
Okay.
A lot of folks actually. We're now getting into the season where people are wanting to have private catered parties, business events, things like that. So they rent out the tap space to do that. Currently, we have a rotating schedule of food trucks that come through Thursday through Sunday. Sometimes special events call for other outside vendors or restaurants actually to cater some of those parties.
Cool. But your focus mostly, you don't want to be like a brew pub with like a whole food menu. You focus mostly on making.
Yeah, our focus is on the beer. Cool. We do that well so far.
Good.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and you got to start the focus on that because that's like that's your main thing. And I mean, if these are any indication of what you guys have, it's incredible. I mean, the Ard Street has just enough citrus to kind of tease you on with it. The River Road, you get the hoppiness and the aroma. It's not overly hoppy in the flavor, and it's balanced very well.
What I was going to say about the River Road is what I like about it is that it's an IPA that's not like. Because IPAs, it's like an arms race.
Absolutely.
With IPAs anymore. Where it's like more hops, more bitterness,
And
more
you know-
hops, and this is just a nice beer that's celebrating the hops, but not like throwing them.
Every time I think of
in your
IPAs
face.
like that are like the palate punchers, I got to go back to Stone Ruination.
Yeah.
And it's executed very well, but I mean, I very
intense.
rarely want something that is designed to ruin my palate.
Yeah.
This does not do that. It gets you the hoppiness. It finishes pretty clean. And if you move on to something else, you're still going to get the flavors of that because it's not lingering too much.
Yeah, and some of them we actually create to better pair with food, different types of food.
Right.
So we have quite a few different IPAs. We have 14 taps. So some of them are paired better in different situations. So we have the restaurants that actually carry our beer that ask for specifically, some ingredients to change to allow for different notes in the flavor of the beer.
Nice. Do you guys do more intense IPAs?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We have some. One of the brewers actually made a habanero pumpkin beer. He's made quite a few strange ones.
Nice. So actually, yeah, it's interesting. Like with only having the 1.5 barrel system as your main system, it's got to be tough to do like experimentation because you don't have like a pilot system that you can then sort of test on.
Well,
or do you guys just kind of like fuck it?
Not quite. The guys still have their home brewing roots, so they have their systems at home too. And luckily, this is a job that can still be your hobby. So
true.
When they go home, they're still working on things that they want to make themselves, and then we try to figure out the math to equate it to a larger size batch. I mean, they started off on 10 and 15 gallon systems, so it's not too hard to jump to the next step.
And I got to say, when we first came in, and this isn't necessarily about the beer, we were commenting on how the people who worked for wineries and vineyards were dressed versus the brewers that are in attendance. Like some of the brewers have Eagles jerseys on. We're not the most formal of crowds,
and beards
and beards and such. And you're dressed business casual, clean cut, clean shaven. and yet you're here representing craft beer. So you
This
make
has
us
been Fashion Busters.
You
with
make
Dan
us
Baker.
look like we can be a respectable bunch, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
On that note, welcome back to the table, Steph.
Nobody needed to know where I was going.
No, it's fine. I can cut that out.
He mentioned a habanero pumpkin beer, and you weren't here.
Yeah,
for it,
No.
You weren't supposed to tell her about that.
You can't put the best word with the worst word.
I was curious what your opinion on that would be.
No, that's wrong. I veto that.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, don't worry. We're not doing anything too pumpkin-y, so we're going to stay away for a little while.
Awesome. Okay, so people can find you online, Belafonte.
Nope.
Belfont.
Belfont.
Spelled Belafonte.
Yep, it's Bellefonte.
Right.
Brewing dot. I'm sorry, Belfont Brewing Co. .com.
Okay, and Facebook.
Facebook,
you guys do all that
Belfont
kind of
Brewing
stuff.
Company. Yep, we have an Instagram. Has a lot of pictures of the events that we do there, and we've been up and down the state at several
Awesome.
different events.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well,
Cool.
Neil, thanks for stepping up to the table, providing us with these awesome beers, and we look forward to seeing you guys grow. Keep an eye on you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we'd hope to see you guys come down there.
Of course,
That'd be
we'd love to. Absolutely.
Definitely. Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you again, man, and best of luck out there.
Thank you.
I hope it's safe to say that the next brewery that is represented here has been making a splash in our geographical region when it comes to the craft brewing industry because of the history that head brewer Bob,
Head brewer, part owner, yeah.
All right, he's got a pretty varied history, and I didn't know about it until a while ago, and I forget where it came up. But now, I mean, apparently this man is the man to go to when it comes to Russian Imperials.
Yes.
But we have with us from 2SP Brewing, we've got Joe with us. Joe, thanks for coming up to the table.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And you guys opened fairly recently, right?
We just had our 1 year anniversary on August 4th.
Ooh, congratulations on that.
Yep.
So how everything I've seen about 2SP so far has been through the roof with the reviews, and I have not been there yet, and I hope to get there very shortly. But it seems like the reception's going all right. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think the response, definitely in the Delco area, has been amazing. That they've really accepted us, and Philadelphia's really brought us on. Yeah.
Good. And I know you already distribute in cans, right?
We have just started canning about 2 months ago. Delco Lager was the initial one, and ASAP, our session IPA, we just started doing, and Bell Cracker, our double IPA. In the next couple months, hopefully.
Okay. I had the Delco Lager at my local Acme. They had it on sale there. And I picked up a can in Mix 6. It was incredible. Yeah. It was really, 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 really good. And I like that you're embracing the local culture just by calling it Delco Lager.
Well, Bob's from Delco, and that was his.
Yeah, you have to.
We're doing a brewery in Delco.
You got to go with the roots. That's
and
awesome.
He's a huge man, so you don't say no to him.
Nice.
Very
But
good. Very good.
I'm glad to hear
Good
you guys are having such great success so far, and I'm glad we could finally have somebody from 2SP on the show.
And I'm just putting it out there. They have the most amazing booth in the tap room that would be perfect for recording a podcast.
Oh.
Just putting it out there.
Okay.
Jill Charles is who we need to talk to. All right. Get you in contact with her.
All right.
We'll make it happen.
Yes.
Just saying.
Steph will be like a hawk with that. But so you guys, you have the lager, the IPA, double IPA canned.
Yes.
So I'm assuming some of Bob's Russian Imperials have made it through the ranks?
We do reserve bottles for all our specialty barrel-aged stuff.
Okay.
So we're going to can our core beers is our main goal. We have 6 of those. There's ASAP, Delco, Bell Cracker, Patina, or Saison, Baby Bob, which is the American version of his Russian Imperial.
Which is amazing.
An amazing
That was
beer.
my favorite beer when I was there, was Baby Bob.
Nice.
And I forgot what else I forgot.
That's all right.
We got excited.
Yes.
We distracted him.
Yeah. I love
And Cold Cock, our English IPA, eventually will make it to a can also,
English
which is delicious.
IPA. Really?
Yeah.
Well, now let's. To be
I know.
fair,
I know.
All IPAs are originally English.
I know, but they've gotten bastardized by us here in the States.
Yes. I wouldn't say bastardized. I'd say improved.
Oh,
Americanized.
That's the American answer.
Oh,
supersized.
Such a cocky American over here.
Speaking of beers,
This is kind of a big deal, this beer, by the way.
What is this beer that I have a
which is why
pittance of a
Steph
sampling?
took more than we
thanks.
get.
Sorry.
This beer is called Alesaurus. It's a one-time only deal, so enjoy it.
Just for today?
Yes.
Ah.
We blended 2 of our beers. It's our Chardonnay barrel-aged triple and a mixture with our spiced whip beer.
Oh, my God.
So
That's really that's
Holy
it's good.
crap.
It's very unique.
So did the event coordinators contact
yes,
you guys and
Cal
ask
Driscoll
for this?
and a few people came up to the brewery, tasted a bunch of beers, and then they decided to mix them, and we made them a keg.
This
Wonderful.
is
Thank you, Cal. We love you.
Yeah, this is great. You get Chardonnay. You said right.
Yes.
You get that so well, and then you get the wit with it also. Like it, it's got so many layers.
It comes with the wit.
With the wit, yo.
Wit or without?
Wit.
Weiss Wit. That's the beer I forgot. Whiz Wit. That's our little.
Oh, there you go. Whiz Wit. Nice.
All right.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect. So it's cool. Chardonnay, that's appropriate for the Winosaurs event that we are at.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it works.
Thank you for using my word.
Yes, I like it.
Winosaurs.
I'm adopting Winosaur.
Wino
It's also
Dino.
like wine connoisseur.
Winosaur, yeah.
Winosaur. So
Yeah,
it works
yeah.
on.
You are welcome.
And there's beer too.
Yes, and there's beer too.
in capital letters.
But yeah, this is pretty cool. So this was like their idea.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, you should put these in together." You're like, "Sure." Well,
We
here's-
worked with Cal
here's a keg.
before on a few different things, so they all just came up and tasted a bunch of beers, and it happened.
That's pretty cool.
It's a great
It
event, so
happened.
we were glad to do it.
It's great. It's
really-
awesome.
It's very unique. Like it has the Chardonnay, like a wine character to it. And you said it was a triple as well.
Triple, yes.
Yeah. So it's got that Belgian-ness going on. What is the ABV on this?
It's going to be about
do you
9.
even know?
Yeah, I was going to ask if we know.
Our triple was 9%, so
Speaking
it's going to
of-
be about that.
Speaking of Cal.
Speaking of Cal, here he is.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This was a great idea.
Yeah, this is awesome.
We're drinking the Allosaurus.
Go ahead. There's an extra mic there.
Sorry.
We're talking about the Allosaurus.
The Allosaurus that he told us about.
Yeah, you can have
earlier.
a seat too if you want.
Yeah, Rich will give up.
Rich is kind enough to give up his chair. So we have Cal with us here now, who it was one of the guys that got us here today.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
This has
You're
been
welcome,
awesome.
you're welcome.
We were just talking about Allosaurus.
Yep.
And how it was kind of your guys' idea.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because we wanted to do something for the event, and 2SP has a great relationship with us, and so we went out and said, can you guys craft us a beer? And then from that standpoint, they were like, yeah, we can do anything you want. And they put a whole bunch of beers out in front of us and said, hey, these are great beers, but it's not what we want. And we said, we want this beer. And we want this beer, and we blended the two together and came up with this really bizarre
We
combination.
want these two beers. Let's just put them together.
Why not?
It's like mad chemistry, just putting stuff together. So it was really well.
Genius. Now, Joe, do you want to mention your name for this beer? Because I kind of like it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think our Pennsylvania listeners
we
will
called
appreciate
it Dino John.
Dino John.
I did not get the note on Allosaurus. I apologize.
I approve. That's like the
That's the
subtext
underground
of it.
name.
Yeah, it's the
I approve
secret
of that.
name.
See, if you had this
I
on
think they're
tap
both
at
equally
2SP,
awesome.
I would walk in and say, I want that Dino John.
Give me some of that Dino John.
I've had to explain what
true.
John
You do-
means to a few too many people
You
today.
do need the word "that" in front of it. It
That
works
Dino
even
John.
better.
That Dino John.
John.
Give me
Dino
that Dino John. It can't be any other Dino John.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh, is there another beer?
There is another beer.
Oh.
that
All right.
We're going to sample now.
Just
I think Wayne's really going to like this one.
Really? Well,
Just
then
saying.
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine. I knew you were going to do it.
we need to send Rich with bigger sample glasses.
Yeah, Rich.
Didn't
Rich,
fill them
take-
up. I didn't quite understand.
Rich, take the picture with you next time.
So what are we drinking
Yeah, what
now?
is this?
This is our Belgian Amber Saison, aged with Brett. So it's been aged a year, and it's just really, really smooth to drink. It's 4%.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So okay. So you've got the word Belgian and Saison,
And my favorite man, Brett.
two of my favorite things. Also, you have Brett. Amber's cool too.
Yeah.
So all amazing things that are particularly close to my heart.
Wait, does it fall short at the 4%? I mean, everybody's like,
No, we love
wait,
that because we can
4%?
drink more of it.
No, that's
absolutely.
great. No, that's fine. I was expecting more.
It's finally a drinkable beer at 4%. It's like, holy smokes, I can have a couple of these versus just one out of the gate, right?
Yeah, and it's super complex.
It really is. There's a lot going on in
Funky.
there.
Oh, I think Dan really liked it too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like it's Belgian-y, it's Saison-y, as you would expect. But there's almost like, I don't want to say like not smoky. There's something in there. There's like a darker flavor in there that I was not expecting, and I can't quite describe it. But
Well, it is an amber. Don't forget.
it's true. Maybe it's the amber. It's the one word that was a little bit mysterious for me.
It's the word that was mysterious.
Like Belgian,
for you.
Saison, and bread. I know. I'm all over that.
I know you like it.
But it was really good. Really complex.
We sent Rich to get more of it.
Oh, good, because I had like one
I do have a
sip.
picture over there, so.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to be like, greedy or anything. I enjoyed my one sip. It was very good.
Oh, my God.
Well, when your head snapped back, and I was like, I think we need more of this beer because ultimately,
I didn't get any. And that's not fair.
Well, I mean, you work
You got the, you have a jockey box over there.
Oh,
right?
I've got a
thing to
picture
yourself.
over there. Yeah, you got your picture.
I messed up with the rosé. I should have brought beer.
Yeah, I know. What gives, man?
Hey, we
See,
actually,
the internet
if-
wasn't
if
going to
there
know
are-
about that. There's plenty
all
of
of
other-
these cans
yeah.
still have beer in them. You're welcome to. I mean, we haven't drank out of them, so there's no cooties.
There's no cooties.
We just poured them into other glasses, and there's still some
There's
left.
pumpkin, there's IPA,
Help
there's
yourself
black
to whatever
IPA.
you want.
I'm good on the pumpkin.
Steph's like, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with
Besides our pumpkin, which is delicious and available at the tasting room, by the way.
When does it start being available?
This past Tuesday, we
Let's
just
say,
had
take
it.
us now, right?
Oh, perfect.
I approve that.
So actually in fall.
Yeah, like you say, fall pumpkin. When will
Do you want
it
a sip
go-
of this before I pass it to them?
Let them enjoy it. I've had it all day.
Well, did Cal get any?
Have you had it yet?
I've had multiple.
He's got beer in
So
his
I'm actually good.
All right.
So 2SP is one of my favorite brews. So for me, anytime that I have a reason to go down, which is almost every night, I try to have one of these beers. So for me, this is my standard, my staple. It's kind of like sesame chicken. You know, when you go to a new Chinese restaurant and you say, well, what do you get? I'll get sesame chicken. If it tastes the same, it's all good. These guys do great stuff. So for me, this is my main staple. So this is good stuff.
Sure.
Thank you.
And have built such a great reputation already. And I know Bob brings a lot of that to the table, but it's just exciting to see these new breweries keep opening and successfully opening and making great beers.
Yeah,
So.
and that's the thing. It's all about the product. You have to have a quality product, which you guys clearly do, with such a great history, and that's amazing.
And brilliant branding. I mean, that bright blue and orange, and I mean...
Super recognizable.
Yeah,
We tried.
you know it's a 2SP beer,
You know,
for
what's,
sure.
you know what's crazy about this is these guys have only been around for the last 14 months. I think
Yeah.
they opened up. They were here last year. They were like, all right, we'll bring a beer. We don't know what we're bringing because we don't know what we're brewing. And they brought a beer last year, and it was a hit. And then, you figure 12 months later. So they're only out of the gate for the last 14, 15 months. So for what they're doing and the quality of beer that they have, to me, it's like hands down one of the best beers that they got going on.
And perhaps we should mention, which I wrote about this when I interviewed the crew when 2SP first opened. Do you want to mention what 2SP actually stands for?
I was
and
gonna
the
ask
connection
that.
there?
Thank you. Well, Two Stones Pub is one of the owners, Michael Stiglitz of the restaurants. Him and Bob partnered on the brewery. So Stiglitz is a big acronym guy. Sorry, messed up. So
I like anagrams,
ASAP
too.
IPA.
Here, have another beer.
It goes. So we're also naming our beers is kind of the hardest obstacle we have. So forgive us for some of our early errors.
Transgressions.
Yeah.
It happens.
And I think this goes back to Bob's roots, being out of Delco and being able to pull out of the Delco. And I grew up in Aston, where Two Stones is located, and I live in Westchester now. And to tell people that, it's like, well, it's a Delco thing. And they're like, what does that mean? And it's like, well, if you're not from Delco, it's kind of like telling you a whole new vocabulary that you don't understand. So from that standpoint, it's just really, really different. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Like water.
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 Thank you.
Water.
Water. Definitely water.
It's water.
Water.
I still don't know what's
See,
going on.
even the guy that works at a brewery in Delco says water.
It's bagel. It's not bagel.
Exactly.
Bagel. Yeah.
You say
But it's
so.
water.
You say bagel.
I said bagel.
But you also say water.
Water.
Your point?
Well, I don't understand.
Weird.
I'm not understanding the argument here.
Never mind. There's no argument. I just wanted to make fun of you for no reason.
I was being facetious, Dan.
Of course.
Well, Joe, it was awesome to meet you.
was great
And
meeting you guys.
I will be contacting you constantly until we get
don't
this set
contact
up.
me. I'm going to give you the proper person to bug.
I'm
Yeah,
not the person to
I'm
ask.
going to contact you until I get a hold of that
No,
person.
Bug Joe.
You're the only one that's actually acknowledged us so far. So far. So Steph will bug the crap out of you, but I look forward to scheduling a date very shortly.
I will change my number shortly.
Damn it.
His name's not even Joe.
His name is John.
Yeah.
John.
John.
He's that 2SP John.
Of course. But Joe, thank you for coming up here and bringing these beers with us. They're incredible, and I'm glad we got to try the Alesaurus, that Dino John.
Stop by the taste room. We have 20 beers on tap.
Definitely.
Each different and delicious in its own way.
Even if there may or may not be microphones involved, I look forward to going there.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you for coming up here, man. I appreciate it. And Cal,
pleasure.
thanks for stepping
Thanks
up to the
for
mic
having
also, man. You've
Whatever.
done a lot for us today, and we can't thank you enough for that.
Well, whatever it takes, we have great beers, and I just want to make sure that the breweries, get their due. Of
course.
from that standpoint.
Yeah.
So whether
That's
they're
what we're here
small
for.
and whether they're large, you guys are out there to put them out there. So that's all.
Yeah.
good.
That's perfect. Well, thank you for everything you've done, and I'm glad you're such a fan of 2SP.
Slightly.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Don't want to get Joe's...
I don't want to go overboard. He has a big head.
I was going to
just
say,
keep growing.
Joe needs to get outside the door. So, Oh, Joe.
We're going
never
back
gonna-
to that rum table.
We're never going to be welcome at
Yeah.
2SP. But, guys, thank you for coming up to the table. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Well, cheers. So we've got somebody joining us at the table now from a brewery who...
Well, we're in Delaware.
You might have heard of.
We're in
literally
Delaware, so,
everyone has probably heard of. And you could argue that craft beer would not be what it is today had it not been...
Well, you can say that craft beer would not be in Delaware.
Craft beer would not be in
Period,
Delaware.
if it wasn't
However,
for-
I still think craft beer would not be the same thing today had it
I
not
agree.
been for Dogfish Head.
I agree.
And we've got Christy here with us. How are you, Christy?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming up to the table.
And so Christie is the northern
Yes.
Delaware.
Northern Delaware. Yes.
Like they had to divide the state of Delaware, which is not a big state.
Yeah.
It's only 3
But
counties.
It says a lot. It speaks a lot to the power that is Dogfish Head. I mean, obviously, there's a wide range of beers that Dogfish puts out that are
Yes.
incredible.
Vastly diverse.
Yes, and that's a very good way to put it. And I mean, you have the, you have the 60 and the 90 minute. You have the 120 that everybody seems to lose their mind over. You have the ancient ales. You have, almost everything else.
A lot of crazy stuff.
Well, Dogfish is not known for really sticking with specific styles of beer other than the IPA, which we sort of do our own spin on. We do continual hopping, so that's a method that our founder Sam created. But other than that, we really don't do really straightforward styles of beer. We kind of like to do our own thing.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of like the brand that is Dogfish. I mean, I could be getting the words horribly wrong, but it's like left of center beer or something.
Off-centered ales for off-centered people.
You were close.
You weren't totally.
I mean,
off.
I had
I know my favorite. What is it? Analog beers for the digital age.
Yep.
Isn't that one of them
Absolutely.
too?
Yep.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yes.
And there was also, years ago, I don't have much time to write anymore, but I did an article a while ago about musical beers. And there's a very deep-rooted history of Dogfish and music.
Absolutely.
Which is incredible. Like, you have the Bitches Brew, right?
Yeah.
Bitches Brew was the very first music beer that we did.
Okay.
We've had a long-standing collaboration with Sony Legacy,
Okay.
where we've done a lot of music collaboration beers. And yes, Bitches Brew was the first one that we did in 2010 to commemorate what at the time was the 40th anniversary of the Miles Davis seminal jazz rock fusion album, Bitches Brew.
Very nice. And we had that beer on the show a long time, like early on.
And it's still
on an
one of my
episode,
favorite
and
Dogfish
it's a
beers.
fantastic beer. Yeah, Dogfish is one of those brands that when you go to a bottle shop to grab a mixed six-pack of beer, because none of us like to drink the same beer more than once in a row, let's face it, it's one of those where you always I always grab a Dogfish Head something.
Of course.
Even if it's something I had before. I've had a lot of their beers. But yeah, because you always know it's going to be an experience.
Well, there's always you're right, and I'll fill it out with either, I've got one spot left, let me grab a 60-minute, let me grab a 90-minute if it's something more. Even the Nut Brown is great. There is, I always say it wrong.
Is one of my favorites.
Indian Brown Ale,
Indian Brown,
I feel,
yeah.
is one of our more underrated beers.
Oh my God, it's
it's
incredible.
really beautiful,
It's so
drinkable
great.
beer.
So good. Yeah.
And what is the Festina Pish?
Festina Pesh has been our summer seasonal for a long time. Sour style beers now are kind of blowing up. Everybody's super into sour style beers, but we've been doing them for a long, long time. To the point that when we first created Festina Pesh and sent it out to our distributors, we had a few of them send it back to us because they said something went wrong.
Oh, really?
Your beer went bad.
What?
Because
No,
the craft beer drinking public at that point just was not really in tune with sour beers, and of
Yeah.
course now it's become
It's
really,
huge.
really popular.
Huge,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how long have you been with Dogfish?
I've been with Dogfish Head since 2013. So
Wow.
about
All right,
3.5
so a couple of years still.
Nice. About as long as we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Man, and it's I can only imagine the things you've seen. I mean, if do you do festivals a lot?
I do a
I'm
lot
guessing?
of festivals,
What-
especially this time of year.
How crazy is it at your table at those festivals?
Very often, we are the table that you never see the end of the line during the whole thing. Yeah.
Man,
You never get a chance to just stop and breathe.
No.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Or in the
So-
case of this event, go around and taste all the delicious food.
Well, we just had to take
Yeah.
a breather and go and try some stuff and eat a little bit.
We
and
went on a bit of a food walk.
Luckily, we always have people come bearing gifts in search of samples of beer. So
that's
I
good.
have that going for me
Nice.
too.
That's always helpful. So the Sea Quench Ale was one of the newest releases
Yes.
from Dogfish with the black limes and the sea salt, kind of a take on a Goza meets a Berliner almost. And
Right. Well, actually, so when Sam started Dogfish Head, he really kind of railed against the the Reinheitsgebot and the idea of the traditional 4-ingredient beer. And so it is the 500th anniversary of the Reinheitsgebot.
1516.
Yes. So sort of to commemorate that, we took 3 traditional German styles of beer. It's a Kolsch, a Berliner Weiss, and a Gose, and combined them together to
and
make
then
something.
said "F you" to the Reinheitsgebot.
Exactly. In a very,
in
very
true
big
Sam
way.
style.
Yes. So it is a combination of those 3 beers, brewed in sequence, in a very specific sequence. And it is a partnership that we did with the National Aquarium in Baltimore, where they essentially replicated Chesapeake Bay sea salt for us.
That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the black limes. So, yeah.
Wow.
Very cool. And I never even knew black limes existed until I had that beer.
Right.
So what other beers can we expect to come out from Dogfish? Anything else in the works?
So Sequential Ale will make another appearance around the first part of October, as will Flesh and Blood, which was another new beer that we have released in limited quantity so far this year, which is an IPA brewed with blood orange and lemon.
Of course.
So we'll see that one again this year. Pennsylvania Tuxedo.
Yeah.
Limited
the forest
quantities
beer.
Last year, an American Pale Ale brewed with spruce tips, so that'll be out in November, just in time for the holidays. Very wintry, piney, sprucey, resinous kind of hoppy beer. Worldwide Stout is going to make another appearance.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Around the November time frame this year, so a lot of people will be looking for that.
Right.
And then we are switching up our winter seasonal this year. So for the very first time, we're going to be releasing Beer for Breakfast, which is kind of a play on our Chicory Stout, which was a long-time winter seasonal for us. So that coffee stout style, but we are adding Scrapple and maple syrup.
There it is. I knew that was going to happen.
Beer for breakfast.
I was going to bring that up.
Wrong on
The
so many
Scrapple
levels.
beer.
No, it's so
not.
right.
It's so very right.
Scrapple is delicious.
So we've got some spices from the Scrapple, some sweetness from the maple syrup in that coffee stout.
Is there actual Scrapple in it?
There is, yes. We had a special low fat, if there is such a thing, version of Scrapple
low
made.
fat version
Obviously,
of Scrapple.
As everyone from Pennsylvania just
Means
cringed.
it's like 60% fat as opposed to like 80.
well, fat has sort of an adverse effect on the brewing process.
It's
so,
true. Actually, yeah.
So speaking of beers that don't have Scrapple in them, we have our second pumpkin beer of the show.
All right,
Second pumpkin beer of the season. Oh, and we have
and
some
Cal's
sort of.
bringing some sort
Is this what is this? Ice cream? Don't pay attention. Oh, it's cold. I think that's ice cream.
Well, Ooh.
Oh, a caramel
all right.
gelato from
Cafe Gelato.
Thank
Cafe
you.
Gelato. Shout out to them.
Of
Yeah,
course.
but we got to eat while you're drinking too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we have pumpkin ale.
Pumpkin ale.
Kind of like the original pumpkin beer.
Right.
Yeah,
so maybe
true,
the second one you've had today, but probably for most people, the first pumpkin beer.
And you got to label that way.
We just had a party foul.
Sorry. I forgot there's like 2 tables pushed together.
Probably the first pumpkin beer that most people, especially in this area, ever had. It is actually 21 years old.
Hey, it can legally drink itself.
Wow.
First debuted before Dogfish Head proper existed, while Sam was in the process of writing his business plan in 1994. Went to Pumpkin Chunkin'. They had a pumpkin baking contest, pumpkin cooking contest, where most people brought a pumpkin pie or pumpkin bread or something like that. Sam entered a pumpkin beer, won first place, and an iconic beer was born. And then Dogfish Head Brewings and Eats opened on Rehoboth Avenue in the summer of 1995. So pumpkin ale is really our original beer for Dogfish Head.
That's awesome.
And at a time when most people had never heard of pumpkin beer before.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly wasn't a thing back then like it is now.
No, it certainly was not.
And, I've seen some things about people, like overall, pumpkin beers are not selling as well as they used to because of the stigma that comes with it. This will be one that I always drink. I love this beer.
It's an easy drinking pumpkin beer, medium bodied. We do use real pumpkin in the mash, but it is much more about the spice profile, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. So you can drink a couple of these and it's not overwhelming, cloyingly sweet.
And I've enjoyed watching the evolution of the pumpkin ale label.
Yes. So we have for many, many years done seasonal artwork, but up until the last 3 years, we always sort of just did T-shirts and posters and things like that. And in the last few years, we have started doing that on the label, using the seasonal artwork for the label. And now this year also on the 4-pack and the mother carton as well. So it's kind of fun, differentiates it from year to year.
Yeah,
kind of fun to see those come out.
Now on to more of my kind of Dogfish beer, Palo Santo.
Palo Santo, definitely a passion project for Dogfish Head. It's an imperial brown ale aged on Palo Santo wood, which is grown in Paraguay. It is the hardest commercially traded wood in the world.
It's bulletproof.
It is bulletproof. It does not float in water. We know that it is, in fact, bulletproof because we had a coworker of ours fire a hollow point bullet at it from about 10 feet away.
Oh, my God.
We have it at the brewery if anybody doubts this, and there's a tiny little mark in the wood. So it is, in fact, bulletproof.
That's awesome.
I've held that piece of wood while drinking this beer.
Yeah.
That was very early on in my craft beer journey. I was nerding out.
Abundance of wood jokes that I could insert.
Go for it. Go for it. Let's go.
Well, I mean, you said you were holding the wood.
You're holding the wood.
Well, that one was too easy. I gave that one to you.
It is very hard. It's a very hard wood.
It's a very hard wood. Maybe I'm bulletproof. This is a delicious beer. 12%.
12%.
I don't know what I expected.
Palo Santo wood, it is extremely resinous. It contributes vanilla, caramel. It's got a little bit of black licorice spice to it. It also helps mellow out the booziness of a 12% beer. So it makes it even very young, super drinkable, but it is a beautifully aged beer as well. So you can put this one away for a long, long time, and it's going to grow in complexity over time. For me, it's a lovely dessert beer. I love it with a piece of dark chocolate, a brownie, something like that.
Or some gelato.
Or gelato.
Sure, some gelato.
Which, help yourself.
Let's see how this pairing goes.
Oh,
it's
here
really
we go.
good.
This is on the fly right here.
So we're doing the caramel gelato from Cafe Gelato.
That gelato is banging.
Is really good.
I noticed nobody brought me one.
Oh, come on, Cal.
Here's Cal.
Here, I haven't.
I'm just kidding. It's okay.
Oh, it's quite a nice pairing, actually.
It's very well together, yes.
Yeah, there's some intense caramel notes going on in that gelato, and it stands up to such an intense beer. Well done, Cal. Well done.
I'm just looking at that 12% on the bottle. And
The last
I poured
bottle
myself a decent amount.
The last bottle of Palo Santo I had was the one that Slimy Sauce gave us, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And it was like a 2010 or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to take a page out of Greg Orth's book for a second. In pairing this, did you like just swallow the gelato and then have the beer, or did you mix the two in your mouth? Because you need to mix them.
I need to mix them.
Just take a little bit of the gelato, put the Palo Santo in there, and just swirl it around for a second.
I think Greg Orth would approve.
Now we need to get you some of the gelato.
Where's Cal?
Cal! He'll come running at some point. It's amazing, and I bet that was something I never would have thought to pair with this beer. It's awesome.
Well, Rich is over covering my station right now, so I'll just wander around and
leave him up there till the end.
That's right.
of the
Before you go back to your
back.
stack. That's a good idea.
Take advantage of his service.
Well, I feel like it was completely appropriate that we had Dogfish on.
Of course.
Because they are the Delaware brewery, and thank you.
I think it's only fair to say that Sam has gotten a lot of us into craft beer. And I'll admit, early on when I started drinking beers that were not Bud Miller, Coors, Yingling, I knew of Dogfish Head, but I didn't know the legacy behind the beers that Sam has brewed and put forth unto this world. And it's incredible to see that he's still, you guys are still doing great things. You're doing the same kinds of beers that were there in the beginning, and you're still the off-center beers. And it's awesome to see these styles.
Or left of center.
Left of center, off center, right of center. Just clearly not center. But to see that these are still such great beers, and the ones that have been there forever are still upholding themselves, but you're also branching out into other things. And it's awesome to see that happen. And the world that we know and I'd like to think are part of at this point wouldn't exist if it weren't for you guys.
And they're constantly transforming themselves,
of course.
too, I think. That's why Dogfish Head has stayed relevant for so long. And I think in the craft beer culture, I think that's important now. If you're not willing to change and be inventive, and because I think that's the reality of the craft beer drinker.
Yeah.
Is we're always searching for the next thing, the new thing, the thing we haven't had yet. And I think Dogfish Head is one of those breweries that has a nice balance of continuing to provide us with the beers that we fall in love with, but pushing our palates and challenging our thoughts about beer along the way as well.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
Well, I know that's something that we sort of have struggled with because we do have a really rich portfolio of wonderful beers that we all love and that are, there's all of them are someone's favorites. But to be able to innovate and move forward, obviously from year to year, we kind of have to drop some out. But the term that we use is on hiatus. And so we love all of those beers, and we do tend to bring them back from time to time. One of mine favorites that came back after a very long hiatus was Fort.
Oh, yes.
So
and it was in a smaller bottle this time around.
For the first time.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so for those people who see new stuff coming out and they see maybe their favorite kind of fall off of the the schedule, we're always going to bring those beers back someday. So that's one of the things that I love too, being
awesome.
a longtime fan before I was a coworker at Dogfish Head. We all have a lot of kind of emotional attachment to those beers.
Yeah. And the other thing I like too, and not to go on too much about it, but the innovation part, I whenever I see something that I don't think I would necessarily like, if it's behind a Dogfish Head label, I trust it. There's a lot of trust that has come for me with Dogfish Head, because you have those beers that stand on their own, and whether or not they go on a hiatus or something, it leaves a lasting impression.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something new, I will gladly trust that the genius is behind your beer. I'll trust that they have the right thing in mind, and they wouldn't release it if it weren't a good product.
I think he's trying to say that if you need a guinea pig to try something new, he'll do
testing.
it.
My liver is yours.
Well, and we do try to stay in that realm where we're constantly pushing the envelope to the point that we know that not every single beer that we make is going to be everyone's favorite. There are going to be some that maybe don't appeal to everyone. And we're comfortable with being in that space as long as we're continuing to do that. We know that we're continuing to be innovative.
Of course. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And it's like Steph said, it was only fitting that we get you up here from Dogfish Head.
Thank you for having me.
And Kristen, we can't thank you enough for coming up here. And we got to get you some of this gelato so you can have it with the beer. It's great.
Yes, get the gelato.
It's incredible.
Delicious.
Yeah. But keep up the great work. And I mean, we owe almost everything to Dogfish Head, pretty much. So you guys are doing a wonderful thing, and it's great that we can have you up here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, man.
Cheers. It's hard to believe, but this event has already come and gone. And
I know this was fucking awesome.
This was cool. This was really cool. I mean, from the second I walked in and saw the dinosaur bones in front of our table, I lit up like a kid. And we had a lot of great beer. We had some awesome food. We met people from breweries we had not connected with before, which is great because that means we just get to take over Delaware then also.
We are in Delaware. It is the end of September. It won't be when you're listening to this, but that's fine. So as the final part of the evening, I have Dogfish Head Pumpkin in my glass.
That you threw at the rep that was at the table.
I almost spilled it all over her,
but
so I apologize. But to be fair, our table setup here is a little wonky.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's definitely one of the more unique recording spaces.
Yeah.
But Dan and I are kind of, I know obviously out there in podcast verse you have no idea what this looks like right now, but Dan and I are in like a cubby booth thing looking out over the whole room.
Yeah, like it kind of feels like almost like a newscast.
Yeah,
more or less.
It's like a little, I don't even know, but it's cool.
Yeah, and we had.
I feel safe.
Good. I'm glad.
I don't.
Steph, unfortunately, there's not much room here
to the outside world.
Steph is out on the guest side of the table.
Yeah, but I mean, this was cool, and I don't want to. I don't want to underscore the gravity of this event because they're doing a lot of, or I do want to underscore the gravity of this event because they're doing great things, and museums tend to go underappreciated. And I know this is the first museum I'd been in. We were at Dogs and Brews last year. I went in to pee, and that was the first time I'd been in a museum forever, and I didn't get to look at anything.
At the Reading Museum, yeah.
And this is super
we were at the
cool.
Helicopter Museum for the Chester County
That's
Hillbrook
true.
Fest.
That's true. But it's really
but
cool.
They didn't have dinosaurs.
They did not have
They
dinosaurs.
did not. They had
choppers.
They had helicopter bones. But we are here and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of great food. Wayne has some cards at places that were handing out stuff.
Yeah, I'd actually like to give a shout-out to a lot of the food vendors that were here, and I apologize if I miss any of you. I was trying to grab a bunch of cards. We have the Greenery Caterers.
Oh, the Alfredo.
Which is where we all sampled some of their wonderful, wonderful pasta. Bixby's Caterers was here as well, as was Cafe Gelato, which we mentioned earlier, which had the awesome caramel gelato that we paired with the Palo Santo. We also have Columbus Inn Taste Catering. Now, unfortunately, when we got to their table, they were out of food because it was so delicious that they had sold it all out. We also stopped by Montrachet Fine Foods. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But I also especially want to mention Jansen's Market. They do catering, they do event services, they do like flowers and tables, like they do the whole 9 yards, not just the food. But they were kind enough to bring some food over to us.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to plug.
And by us, we mean Wayne and Dan.
Well,
because it may or may not have been vegetarian.
It was probably made of pterodactyls, we concluded. But it was delicious. And they're having a holiday tasting, Thanksgiving event on November 5th from 11 to 3. You can go online, look up Jensen's Market, get some more information about that. It's jensensmarket.com, but they're going to basically have their whole menu available for this event, so you want to check that out. And another one that brought over the hand-rolled raviolis.
Oh, my God.
With feta and spinach in them, which
and
were
the
absolutely delicious.
Tomato sauce.
Were they? That's great.
Yeah, that was Toscana.
It wasn't vegetarian, sorry.
And so I just definitely wanted to mention all these places: Toscana, Jansen's, the gelato place, Cafe Gelato, and all the other food vendors. Sorry if we didn't get to you. We walked around and tried to gather.
I've got one
business
cards.
Dan's got an extra one.
Yeah, there was. So we were outside. We went to the creamery that had the pasta, and Stouts was out there. We got to meet one of the very nice reps from Stouts, and a lot of the other breweries were there. But there was also a truck that had ice cream, and it was fresh made. Homemade ice cream. They also do fudge, but they only do ice cream here. They called it Turtle. It was chocolate ice cream that had caramel mixed in and something else. I forget at this point.
Is there some kind of nut in Turtle?
Probably walnuts. Pecan. Yeah, that.
Pecans.
Yep. But it is Woodside Farm Creamery, which, according to their business card, owned and operated by the Mitchell family since 1796.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So there's a lot of history there, and that's awesome. They're putting out a good product, and I'm happy that they were a part of this today too, because that just adds to it. You could add your beer, you could add your food. 2SP had the barbecue sandwiches that were with that I unfortunately didn't get, and then you could add your ice cream. There's probably dessert wines that are floating around, and it was a great time. I am super glad we got to be here. 10th annual Wine and Dinosaurs, or as I call it, 10th annual Winosaurs. They may or may not use that. Who knows? But, of course, this is at the Delaware Museum of Natural History, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys. I had fun. And we can't, of course, go without saying thanks to Rich, who has done a lot. Your mic is on if you want to lean in.
You're welcome.
There we go. Yeah. I don't know. We rarely have you on the show, but we owe you many heartfelt thanks. I know.
Although we have some of our most used sound clips with his voice.
That's true.
But Schnitzel.
There it is.
Oops, I just sharded.
Oh, you don't have headphones on. You didn't hear that.
He has no idea what's going on right now. No idea.
All right. Good to me.
All right, cool.
He's waiting for us to pack up.
Yeah, pretty much. But, of course, we didn't mention it early on in the episode, and we probably should have, but we can't forget this episode is brought to you yet again by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/beerbusters. Sign up for that free 30-day trial of your own Audible account where you get to download, listen to, and keep your very own audiobook. And they are readily available, waiting for you to sign up for this account. There's over 250,000 titles you can choose from. audibletrial.com/beerbusters.
This episode is also brought to you in part by our generous patrons at patreon.com/beerbusters, where you can go and sign up to become a patron. You can donate a couple bucks to us each time we release a podcast episode, or as little as $1 a month, which is I don't know how much a day, but it's very, very minuscule. So
3 cents.
It's 3 cents a day. 3 cents a day?
30
days. Okay. 3 cents a day or more if you want.
3.3, I think, maybe.
Something like that. And you get access to cool behind-the-scenes perks. You get the outtakes from our podcast. We post things to Patreon that we don't put anywhere else. And you get that warm, fuzzy feeling inside that you've helped us continue to be awesome. So go to patreon.com/beerbusters. And check out the Delaware National History Museum.
Yeah.
I think we're talking too much.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. I know. I don't want to wrap it up because this was so fun.
I think we should end.
I know. I think we have to. Very unfortunately, this brings us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters, and I almost hit the news music because that was just next up. This was incredible. Seriously, come out to the 11th annual next year, and I guarantee you will have a fantastic time because there's dinosaurs here that are wearing fedoras and leis and hula skirts. Don't forget that. Well, I am Dan Baker, joined, as per the usual, by my co-host and brewerologist,
Steph Hefner.
And the demented and fermented
Wade Baker.
No squids were harmed in the making of this episode. These dinosaurs have been dead for millions of years, but at some point they got hurt. Thanks for your continued support, everybody. We will see you next time.
Single teardrop falling down my cheek.
Because life finds a way.